are you doing?
We're going to get started this morning. If you'd like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda. Pine Mountain Club Property Owners Association, Inc., Board of Directors, regular meeting, Saturday, August 16th, 2025, 10 a.m., and we're in the Condor Room. Members in good standing are free to speak on a specific item on today's agenda when the chairman calls for discussion. If there is an item that is not on the agenda that an individual wish to present, the appropriate time for the presentation is during the member forum. This meeting is being recorded to allow members in good standing who could not attend to view the meeting at a later date and to aid the recording secretary in preparing the minutes of the meeting. Members will observe rules of decorum. The speaker will address the chair and speak only to the matter under consideration. Members will refrain from being argumentative and making derogatory or personal remarks or gestures. Members will turn off or silence all cell phones or communication devices while attending the meeting. Call to order. Joshua Arman.
Here.
Mark Bailey is excused. Candace Bennett.
Here.
Madison Bodorf, that's me. Sean Coulter.
Here.
Nicole Gates. Here. Randall Gates.
Here.
Andrea Schoening.
Here.
Douglas Wild is excused. Adopt the agenda. Resolve that the agenda for the Board of Directors meeting August 16th, 2025 be adopted.
Do I have we got to work out our timing.
I know, we
There's
do it
enough
together.
spas where I'm like, is Sean going to do it or not?
Second.
All right.
Any comments on the agenda today? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Vote to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, I think we just did that. I jumped through.
It's always the next line.
I
It's
know.
repetitive. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Consent agenda. Consent agenda opportunity for public comment. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the board wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone in the audience, the item may be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. I'm
I'm going to pause here. Do any directors feel the need to split this out?
I'd like to split out the first item, the reading of the minute, the approval of the minutes.
Okay. Are we able to handle items 2 through 4 together? And we'll do this in 2 steps. Does that work for everyone? Sean, you have a comment.
Yeah, I'd like to split up 2.
Okay. Then we'll just go through each one this time again.
Okay. Dispense with the reading of and approve the draft minutes of the Board of Directors regular board meeting of July 19th, 2025.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
My comment is, historically, we've had many cases where resolutions, rule changes, and policies have been approved by the board, but they have not made it to the master file. I mean, I believe it's still in April, the changes to 310 that Bailey proposed, excluding member-to-member Facebook issues, is still not posted. So my ongoing recommendation is when we approve these minutes, there's some reference to the fact that it has been verified that anything that's approved is now in our official master governing documents file. I think my bylaw from June is still not posted. So I think ongoing, I'd like when the board approves the minutes, that the secretary could affirm that these minutes, it has been verified that anything approved has now been appropriately documented, so we don't have to go backwards again.
So what we're doing, the policy that affects this is G3. It lays out what we put in our standard agendas. We're already taking a pass at modifying that policy to smooth out some of the kind of member language, conduct language we have in here. So this is now an additional change that we will be making to this policy, and we are in the process of a draft of that will go back to governing docs for their checks and balances. And I think by September, we will see a resolution in that meeting to have a modified format here, that it will include the notes that Randall's referring to. Because we do want to have, we're looking at adding in places and checks and balances that ensure we know what needs to be done as a board and that it's also being done. And we've now verified that and we're all on the same page. So, any comments to approving specifically our July minutes from last month?
Okay.
Great. All in favor of adopting our July minutes?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Committee applications forwarded for concurrence by the board. You want me to read them out?
Yes, please.
Okay. Bear Committee, Kristen Burrill, Carla White, Simon Williams. B, Budget and Finance, Debbie Bailey, Leslie Branda, Christy Hayes. No one for Communications. No one for Election Committee. Emergency Preparedness, Nicholas, I couldn't totally read the last name, so I'm going to try. Cothron Church. Allison Curry, Carolyn Gilbert, Leslie McCleary, William Peters, Kathleen Weinstein. Environmental Control, Ron Freeman. Family Resource Ad Hoc Committee, none. Governing Docs, none. Green and Grounds, David Gardner and Karen Curbs. Planning Committee, none.
Do I have a second to approve our committee members? We need a second to debate
Second.
it, so.
Okay, Nicole.
Okay, Nicole, thank you.
Right.
I'm guessing there is commentary here. Anyone? Josh, yes.
I thought we had communications members.
This is just, this does not list current members. This is just applications that have come in the past 30 days for that committee. So the change right now, communications met on Tuesday, the 5th, don't quote me, had their meeting. Cliff Pennick, his application is in the works, but didn't clear the timeline for this meeting.
Okay.
So his will show up in September.
Okay.
Yeah. So this, just to clarify, this is not a running tally of who is on a committee. It's just a current application being approved to the committee. And I do want to acknowledge, we have some discrepancies on the website right now for committee members and who's on the committees. And we're trying to get that cleaned up so there isn't confusion. But then also, once you are approved to a committee, you receive a letter in the mail acknowledging that you are now on that committee too.
Yeah, that was my only question, because I wasn't sure why certain people weren't listed, because I know you guys had the meeting.
Yep.
thing happen.
Yeah, just timeline. Sean, did you have any comments?
Yeah, I'd like to postpone an application for emergency preparedness.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I would like to postpone an application for emergency preparedness for 1 month, please.
Okay,
Carolyn Gilbert.
okay. We can discuss in executive why you feel the need to do that, and we'll revisit the issue next month. Yeah. Any other,
I just have a general comment, because we only see the most recent applications coming in. Some of the returning members, and I know they're people who are valuable and experienced, and I fully support their participation, but when they list my background, they'll just say, I'm already on the committee, or I was secretary or chair, and for recent applications where we don't have, an ongoing file, for example, it's really hard for a board member to have an overseeing ability when there's basically no information included. So I don't know if we could talk to the chairs of committees. I think this would probably be resolved when the change is more official with the initialing. But that's just my only comment. I still support that.
I think the process right now, you complete a full application, obviously as a new person to a committee. The second year that you're on that committee, it's still in a draft form. The procedure we're trying to put into place is that you are allowed to then go into the office and just initial your application, and we still have that first year's full context, to what you're doing. The third year that you would be on a committee would require a new application. And in that sense, I think there should be some kind of parameter where it isn't just, oh, I was chair of planning for the last 2 years, because I have seen that in the past, and I did that in the past too, of my couple years on planning, not wanting to write out the full, like, why am I credentialed for this? So I understand your concern completely. I don't know if we have any formal procedure in place to mitigate that. But I think we can actually solve that in the third draft of our Article 19 resolution that will be coming up when we withdraw that one. So put a pin in it. We'll make sure that note is included, but I think it's valuable input for sure. Any other commentary, concerns? Then, Sean, I would like to have you motion to approve the committee applications included with postponing Ms. Gilbert's, so we can just.
Motion to accept the applicants.
Sorry, hold on one second. We're going to back up here.
Yeah, she
Nicole,
already
can
made
you
it.
withdraw your motion? Or sorry, your second?
second.
Okay, I withdraw my second.
Okay,
Withdraw.
that's withdrawn.
Madison.
We will now start a new motion.
Madison has to withdraw hers.
Okay.
Oh,
Got it? I'm doing it. Yeah. Okay.
okay.
I have to read it again. What?
No, you just need to withdraw
I did.
your position, which we've done now.
Okay.
And Sean can.
Motion to adopt the applicants with the exception of Carolyn Gilbert for a delay of 1 month. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
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 Any,
Those in favor?
All in favor? Okay.
Okay. All right. Committee liaison assignments, 2025, 2026, modified.
Do I have a second?
second?
Okay. These just clean up, adding in the Family Resource Committee. Hold on one second. And just renaming of the Bear Committee. And we've cleaned up the liaison to communications. Madison will still be my inside right hand on ideas, but I'll take that committee. And I think that's the only change.
Okay.
All in favor?
Sorry.
Great, thank you.
Consent calendar, 2025, 2026, no changes.
Great. Randall can second. Okay. This just stays included in your board book so that you have it in your current packet. All in favor? Great, thank you.
Officer reports, chair's report.
So, I'm flying a little bit by the seat of my pants today. It has been a challenging few weeks in a number of fronts. So, Forgive my ad-lib public speaking. First, I want to thank our staff. I know it's been challenging to adapt to new systems and new procedures and also new leadership. And I know beginning of this month, leading into our board deadline was challenging on a number of fronts. Some out of our control, IT changeovers, tech not working, stuff like that can be very frustrating on top of being asked to do a new procedure. So again, I just do appreciate all of our staff who are working with us to execute on all the things that need to be done and their patience in doing it with us. I see you. I feel you. So again, we just appreciate all the hard work from everyone who is helping, kind of a bumpy transition that happens annually during the summer, but I think just this time around with new management, the absence of grace and a new board is especially challenging. So again, I just thank all of everyone for their participation. That was 2 weeks ago. Last week, and I bring this up just because it will affect some things I'm involved with on the board. We're dealing, sorry. I brought the Family Resource Committee to the board last month because I saw a need on James's plate to have resources to point to for our community and its membership. And, sorry, did not think to be emotional right now. We're in the thick of dealing with some stuff with our family and just how we take care of our extended family on the Hill and the aging needs that we have up here. And it's been a very challenging week. So I have asked that Director Nicole Gates would step up and help James to launch the Family Resource Committee and to flesh out what it needs. Just because I'm in the thick of those resources and I don't want to be influencing what that committee is while my family is directly involved in all of that right now. So that's what we're dealing with. And I think Nicole will be great with James to handle that. What I'm hoping everyone has in their packets online and maybe the printed packets for today is a really great write-up by the Emergency Preparedness Committee for current evacuation procedures. We've had a couple, specifically last month, the house fire over at Woodland and Bernina. And I'm sure I was not the only one who woke up 5 hours later to turn my phone on to find all these alerts that we had had a house fire up on the hill and thinking, oh, shoot. How would I be alerted to evacuate and how would I know to do that? And, what is our current procedure? So the EP committee was on it very quickly to take a current snapshot at if we had to evacuate the mountain tomorrow, how do we know to do that? And what's our communication to do that? The committee's working very hard to have broader, more comprehensive systems in place, but those are down the line. We're not there yet. And it's very obvious that we've been lucky the last couple of years to have house fires that don't spread and don't escalate, particularly in the middle of the night, into major evacuation situations. So I want to really emphasize today that the only way right now you will know to evacuate the mountain is if you are signed up with Ready Kern and you also have the Genesis Project app on your phone. And you also have a GMRS radio that is tied in with our radio safety net up here. Those are the three things that you need to have in place. And then they basically need to be on at all times. The Kern County, the Ready Kern app is the county's and official agencies' way of letting you know that you need to evacuate. And then the Genesis Project app is what is going to tell you what evacuation zone you are in. Those two apps inform Watch Duty. So having Watch Duty alone is really not covering yourself. There are plans in the works with the EP committee to make sure that everyone is aware of their evacuation zone, and we have kind of quick access to remembering that number and knowing what to do, but that's still in the works. Right now, if the power is on and people are awake with their phones, you would get an alert from Ready Kern, and you would get a notification from Genesis that is your evacuation zone, and if you are on warning or if you're being told to leave. The RSN network will then also jump on because they're monitoring those channels, and they have a system in place where if they need to activate the net, they will do so. So you want to have your radios charged as well and be able to access those. If it's I would say an overnight situation or a power outage situation, your radio is going to be your lifeline to communication. The RSN guys and the EP guys and gals, they have redundancies in place to stay online if there are power outages, and they also have the ham radio ability to communicate off the hill if we have even further comm outages that are preventing, cell service and such. So again, your radio is your lifeline in any kind of evacuation issues. The RSN and the EP committee were monitoring the house fire last month on Bernina and Woodland. And again, they don't want to be kind of creating unnecessary traffic and chatter on the radios. So that's why they kind of stayed not offline, but just not blasting updates. Again, if there are issues where things are escalating and now we've got to start alerting people, they are ready and standing by to do that. So for right now, that is our procedure for if we needed to evacuate in a situation outside of, longer term plans of having, a text alert system from the association or sirens that everyone can hear. I'm going to have the instructions for all of this stay up on the bulletin board so it's an accessible resource, and we'll probably find a place for these to land publicly online as well. You'll notice in our agenda today that we have a couple communication policies coming to fruition. These were discussed at the committee meeting on Tuesday, really with the intent of rolling these out down the line in the coming months. But we've had some staffing needs that happened last week that we need to be able to pivot and cover our communication needs in the interim. So that's why these policies are coming through kind of last minute and as motions versus full resolutions. I'll be able to speak to some further context to these business policies when we get to them in our agenda. But I do want to give a huge shout out to our governing docs committee members and also our communication committee members. These issues came up Friday morning, and these committees were able to rally basically within 24 hours to spot check business policies and make sure we were covering what we needed to, and also spot check our other governing documents. So a huge, huge shout out to our volunteers because they were instrumental last weekend in getting these policies off the ground for a last minute prime time. So they're really standout committees for myself and the workload that came down the pipeline. So again, awesome job, huge appreciation. I think lastly, just to give a quick update on where we are with Clubhouse fixing, we'll call it that for now. Our senior operations manager, Bob Wyant, is a very skilled contractor project manager, and he has been tasked with kind of helping to lay out our various options of how we can proceed with our facilities here. And after last month's approval of switching reserve companies and software, he and George were able to go through our reserves and really do a fine-tooth comb assessment of what's in there, and again, find some glaring holes from the last reserve company That's why we wanted to leave them. So they now have a very, very solid handle of our reserves, and Bob's next step is to lay out what are our reserve items for the kind of clubhouse campus here, the main building and pavilion, that have reached the end of their useful life or are going to in the next 0 to 5 years, and lay out a construction timeline of how we would execute on those items. And that's basically considered option B of the resolution that was passed in June to lay out various scenarios for the membership. So once we have that option A, if I said B, sorry. Option A is just what exists within reserves. That timeline and construction timeline allows us now, once that's done, to flesh out an option B where we look at what are improvements we would like to make that don't fall under a reserve category, and where, construction-wise, would it make sense to insert that item. And then we're going to look at making sure we don't do too many items in 1 year, because we have a budgetary cap per year of 5% of our operating budget. So that gets a little into the weeds here, I understand that, but just to let you know, we are making progress on being able to present an option A, B, and C to the membership, and we're working as fast as we can to do that, while also not neglecting urgent maintenance of our building for our facility and for our staff as well. I think that covers the urgent matters. Today seems kind of like a light agenda. I think probably for some, there are a number of items that are in the works that just are not ready to be on an agenda yet. So we're kind of in probably a 6-week, 8-week time frame on a lot of things where they won't kind of fall, each month that we're proceeding forward. So there's a very large to-do list behind the scenes. So I think that's what I got today. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, now we have general manager's report.
Longer update. Okay. Good morning, everyone, and a big thank you for joining us today. Whether you're here with us in person or tuning in via Zoom, it's great to see our community come together once again for a monthly POA meeting. Over the past few months, my senior operations manager, Bob Wynant, and I attended the first 2 EMCC POA meetings, commercial district meetings, and observed their officer elections. I also attended the first budget, finance, and governing docs committee meetings. Congratulations to the newly elected officers. I'm excited to continue attending these and many other committees just to gain more understanding and awareness of all our volunteer work and just recognizing what members are doing for us. Especially the new Family Resource Committee, where I'm going to serve as the liaison. I'm really looking forward to that committee and the actions and what we're going to be able to achieve. We met weekly with the Emergency Preparedness, Radio Safety Network, and Community Emergency Response Team, CERT, to strengthen public safety, focusing on fire and disaster preparedness. Due to the momentum and numerous tasks across these groups, there's a lot of momentum going on, and the POA, we've had to scale back meeting frequencies, but we urgently need volunteers for these teams. Pine Mountain Club's new Red Cross group, also the golf course, we're looking for volunteers. If you're interested, please contact the business office or myself directly. We still need all members to contact the business office to sign up for the Firewise USA program to begin creating safe neighborhoods. The POA will send out details later today. Radios will be offered at the business office soon, so be looking for that. We're waiting for a shipment in. We want to be able to provide radios. Radios is going to be the key to communications, to be able to react to any situation. Fire, disaster, everything. We're also finalizing a draft plan to elevate our golf course to a higher standard with several options, many options that we will present before the board so that we can select the right course of action. It's a very comprehensive plan. I mean, the details that we're talking about to take care of the golf course are very extensive. To all blood donors and members, the Huchin Mobile Blood Bank will be back in Pine Mountain Club next Friday from 10 to 2 p.m. Donors I got a notification yesterday, so there's some good stuff with donating this Friday. Donors get an automatic entry to win 2 tickets to the Kings versus Ducks preseason game on September 27th, plus eligibility for the Dodger Grand Slam prize running through August 30th. That grand prize includes an autographed Shohei Ohtani photo. A second
You
prize.
said it right. You said it right.
Is that okay? Picture? I'm not sure. The second prize of 2 Dodger game tickets on September 15th with round trip transportation, and a third prize of an authentic LA Dodgers jersey. And saving the best update for last. Hit it, George. Okay. Okay. I want to talk about entertainment.
Elephant in the room.
I've received a lot of feedback, a lot of concerns, and I appreciate that. And please, keep letting me know what we can do better. But to a concerned member, rest assured, they know who they are. Today is not the day the music died. Entertainment at the Condor will continue with adjustments to enhance the guest experience. I mean, with reasonable volume at a certain point for families and guests to dine and have conversation, and then transition to rock and roll or whatever happens. But we need your support. We need support from the member team. The entertainment's going to continue, but please come out. Come out, enjoy the music, savor the great food as we work on improving the restaurant and bar financials in other ways. But please come out. It's great food. New menus are going to be out soon. So thank you very much. In closing, please remind everybody, watch the speed. 25 miles an hour. Speed is an issue here, and it continues to be. So thank you very much.
I vote we have more music at the meetings. Yeah. Okay.
Less restaurant, more here.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yes, yes. All right. Oh, we're on to the treasurer's report. Randall's great entrance.
Next question.
Thank you.
Yes.
Kind of a late,
Josh, just had a question. Yes.
Yeah, did we get anywhere with getting radios that we could buy here at the clubhouse?
We'll come back to that. That's totally off topic right now.
No, that's what I said. Yeah.
We'll come back to that. We'll answer you offline. Thank you.
good morning. County Manager George Esparza has prepared a preliminary financial package for June 30th. And preliminary means we know it'll change, but this is an opportunity to kind of get your arms around mind around what the year end is looking like, and it was a challenging year. Other adjustments are in process, but this, he's also been working on a different format. This is what you will normally see online when it's posted. 22 pages, enough detail to probably induce sleep. Sorry. What we've been working on and what you have at the table over there, and the board members should be able to see it on Zoom, is a different version, and this is just, we're looking at ways to make it easier for the members to understand what's going on and track what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So this is pro forma for discussion, and hopefully you can see it. And let me run down through it just so we can see how it works, and feedback, like James said, is always essential. We're trying to do more, make it more transparent and easier to digest, I guess would be the best way to say. So the preliminary results
have been reviewed and approved by the board subcommittee, but have not been officially reviewed and approved by the Budget and Finance Committee because we ran out of time at the meeting last Wednesday. Again, these are preliminary numbers, and if you can see the handout or if you have it from the table, I'm going to just take it by line number very quickly to walk us through it so we don't take forever here. Line 22, toward the bottom, total change in operating fund. You can see we have a year-to-date activity, a deficit of almost 79,000, better than budget by pretty much 266,000. And the infamous purchase of the post office, when that's factored in, because if you look up at projects, you see a big, on line 17, you see a big better than budget amount, and that's because we paid for the post office out of operating funds last year, and that has thrown all this off. So basically, where it shows where we have a $79,000 deficit, if you back out the post office, we would have been $82,000 worse than budget. There's also a significant line item, line 21, of $208,000. This is something we don't budget because we don't see in this magnitude. These are foreclosures that the association was required to purchase. In other words, so you have accrued assessments, penalties, fines, whatever. Once it's foreclosed, those get moved into a property fund and they hit the operating account that way. So again, when we're looking at the year, that's a big item. But I'm trying to go through this too quickly. Some of the other factors very quickly. This is a top-down. At the very end, I'm going to explain how we might do this better in the future. But interest income, $69,000 worse than budget. I think it's probably been discussed that with Axis Bank, it turned out that we weren't getting any interest on our operating account. And that was because an agreement with their affiliate, the infamous Sync, C-I-N-C, they were going to cover the software costs for Sync by not giving us interest on our operating account. So again, in this new format, you can see that interest income is worse than budget by $69,000, $70,000. That information was not made available when the budget was done for last year. So again, just pointing out, there's a lot of things that lead to the ultimate bottom line for this year. General and administrative, $25,000 worse than budget, but that includes $39,000 in unbudgeted computer support costs, a la Sync again, $94,000 in unbudgeted legal costs. It was a contentious year. And $71,000 in unbudgeted increase in bad debt reserve. We have some collectability issues with some of the amenities as well as our own assessments. And I want to point out, one problem with G&A is that many costs would be better distributed to other departments, but we have not got a mechanism to do that yet. Example, we have $568,000 in insurance costs that hit G&A. All of those, most of those relate to a lot of things that aren't just general and administrative. You have insurance for slip and trip in the cafe. You have equine insurance. You have, so we're working on it, but again, we have, as I think someone mentioned earlier, we have a backlog of work in process. Line 4 on that chart, association business, was $14,000 worse than budget. This was principally due to the $12,000 on in costs for the recall ballot, increased election expense, and we had, because of transition, $7,000 in unbilled advertising revenue that we were counting on. So together, that explains the 14. Lines 6, 9, 10, and 11, clubhouse maintenance, refuse and recycling, equestrian center, and pro shop, were all better than budget. And this is principally due to unfilled staff positions. Either we were looking for a full-time and couldn't get one. We have part-time now without full benefits. And, but again, I'm making this quick, believe me. Line 12, recreation, was $41,000 better than budget. Again, due to lower payroll costs, in this case of $35,000 due to unfilled positions. And our operating costs were better than budget by $7,000. This is something that will be handled differently in this present year, in that recreation expenses in the numbers you're seeing here included 51,000 of entertainment. Can we cue the music again, James?
Hit it, George.
It included 51,000 of entertainment expense. That was previously budgeted to the lounge, and in this year it will go back to the lounge because these are costs predominantly related to patronage of the lounge and the cafe. So I'm just pointing out we're going to, in the current year's budget, these things will be where they belong. The cafe and the lounge are in one place, and they will have their budget for entertainment, and if they need to adjust it, they will. Line 14, post office, 66,000 worse than budget. Basically, I think everyone remembers what happened when Amazon quit using UPS. There was a big staff up for handling volume, not only in the holidays, but for the rest of the year. And now that Amazon is back online doing their job, we were taking care of deliveries of package, and we had our own truck to pick up those packages twice a day, sorry. Well, the truck's old, it needs maintenance. We had the staff. I believe there's a fix in process right now to where we're going to eliminate that need to do the pickup and handle the truck, and so these costs will come down. But when the budget was made, those weren't anticipated. So, food and beverage, line 15. 11,000 worse than budget, basically 30,000 lower than anticipated revenues, 8,000 worse than budget operating expenses, offset by 27,000 better than budget in payroll costs, which is pretty consistent up here. We can't always get people to work full-time or even part-time. And so somehow they make do, and the food still gets served. And again, at the fiscal 2026 lounge entertainment costs were factored in here, we'd have another 51,000 in the cost to maintain the food service amenity. Line 17, projects net, 290,000 better than budget. Back to the purchase of the post office building, that will work itself out. That actually affected a lot. Had that not been purchased, we would have had a big carry forward of budget surplus, which would have lowered our costs for this year. So it was not inconsequential. And line 21, foreclosed lots, pretty much $8,000, which is an unusual amount for the association to have to pick up. Some of these actually had homes. So I'm running through this quickly. This is a complex organization. If you get a chance when this is posted and look at all 22 pages that George put together, it's a lot of information. And every one line item is a lot of work. And this is why when George came on board in September, we had 6 months of non-parallel operations between the old North Star and the new sink. One stopped, one went forward. 6 months later, it was determined sink could never meet our needs. It was not implementation, it was just the capacity of the software. But we weren't running parallel. So now you had to take 6 months on sync, which we have controls. You have balance sheet items from beginning of before March of 23. You have the cash receipts, cash disbursements. You have the information, but they all, instead of already being parallel and, okay, shut this down and just keep going with North Star, everything had to be reintegrated. It's a massive amount of work. And then when you see the detail on here, you realize it is a massive amount of work to run this place properly. So as it is clearly evident in this moment, to recap our financial position in a board meeting, I think I've made that very clear. This is a lot of information coming too quick. We plan to have quarterly town halls, specifically to address financial information. Q&A until it just stops. This is a difficult forum to try to communicate what I just tried to communicate. I'm hoping this format will make it a little easier because it focuses on the net of each one of these departments and amenities. And then if it strikes you as odd, you can go back to the page of detail for that amenity. Okay, I see what's going on. So we're going to have a quarterly town hall. Once we know the timing of we have the audit in process. Once that audit is done, which should be in October and approved by the board, we should have a town hall to go through page by page of that audit report. If you don't know what it is, great question. If you don't understand what it says, great question. George has all the answers. But again, there's got to be a better format than this to keep the membership apprised of what's going on financially, and there's got to be time for Q&A. And then my expectation is that will continue quarterly thereafter, so that every quarter, we'll have the June 30th, and then when September, you got 90 days, we'll sit down with the 90-day year-to-date and go take a look at all 22 pages. Something stands out, ask a question, and like I said, George has all the answers. Cue the music. Oh, sorry. So again, I apologize for running through so quickly, but I think it emphasizes how complicated this place is and how difficult it is in a few minutes to really have the members feel comfortable that they understand what's going on, if that's fair. But this is preliminary for now, but it seemed like a good start. We'll try to make it easier to kind of skim and see where you want to ask some questions. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, motion to ratify the draft of the association's June 2025 financials in accordance with Civil Code 5500 and 5501, pending completion of the 2024-2025 audit.
I second that. And a comment? These again are preliminary. They will be posted. I will have what I just said attached to my treasurer's report. But the whole point of having more than one first draft is so we can focus in and see if things need more attention. So George prepared this. It will change. Hopefully, again, we don't know how much, and as the next iteration will be next month. And then the final decision will be the audit report. But so this is not final, but it's information that might be useful in the interim.
Great, thank you. Nicole?
He answered my question. I was, because I know that not everyone has access to that summary sheet, so I was just wondering where it would be available for members.
There's copies on the table over there, and it will
they're
be
all
posted
run out.
online. Oh, they ran out? Okay.
Great. Any other comments? All in favor? Great. Thank you.
Committee minutes acceptance, committee minutes record.
We
approve
just
that?
read through the.
Just keep going.
Section 5.
Okay.
We're just acknowledging that the board has received these.
All right.
And then we pick up with motions and seconds with the EC recommendations.
Okay. Okay, so committee minutes, Bear Committee, July 2025, Emergency Preparedness, June 2025 and July 2025, Environmental Control, August 2025.
Second.
I don't believe we actually
Do that?
it's because we're not voting on it. We're just acknowledging
Or
that
just-
the
We
board
received them.
received these.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
I've noticed that planning is missing, but I know that their minutes were sent to minutes@pmcpoa.com. Is there, so I'm just commenting.
For July's? Because the tricky part with planning is the timeline of the meeting and the deadline of the agenda.
Well, they're not listed for either, where normally they're listed a month behind, like some of
Correct.
these, and it's not
Correct.
included at all. So I'm just noting that, and I think I saw it twice when I was looking over this, so I'll follow up.
Yeah, as
Just wanna-
liaison,
too.
circle back with your new chair, and let me know, and I'll communicate with the office.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, EC recommendations. Approve Environmental Control Committee project recommendation. We have one.
Can I get a second first, please? That was Josh, thank you.
Mhm.
You sound oddly like Sean, so I'm not looking, it's like, oh shoot, which one? Okay,
I'm a little bit louder.
yes. This is an outdoor gazebo for the Lockhart Native Garden. EC has no issues with it. Any comments from the board? No? Great. All in favor? Great, thank you.
Approve cottage industry permits. There's one.
Do I have a second?
Second.
There we go. Now I can tell the difference. Sorry, guys. This is an online business and just Amazon retail. I do want to make a comment to this. I went back and looked at our rules. I believe it's Article 20 that addresses the EC rule for cottage industries. And I just found it a little, I don't know, cumbersome when we are requiring cottage industry permits for businesses that have no footprint physically in the community. It's I completely agree with the response from this member. She had emailed to the EC office and was like, why do I have to do this? I have no inventory, I have no customers, I'm entirely online. And I was like, yeah, why do you have to do that? There are some stipulations from Kern County on cottage businesses, but this is something that I would like governing docs and our EC committee to go back and look at. And things like this where we can be bringing procedures into current business practices and streamlining things and maybe eliminating workload on our EC staff would be really good. The nature of business has changed post-COVID.
I like that.
So I think there's, again, room for improvement here and not just doing things the same old way. So anyway, any additional comments on our cottage permit today? All in favor? Great, thank you.
All right. Okay, members' open forum. This 25-minute open forum is for members to present their comments. Each member is allotted 5 minutes and will be timed. Members wishing to be recognized should step to the microphone, address the board and chair, and state name, tract, and lot number slowly. The board may extend the time limit for this forum to allow additional members to speak or grant additional time to a speaker when appropriate. Members may present questions to the board. If the question cannot be readily answered, it may be presented in writing or emailed to the recording secretary, and the question will be responded to within 15 days, calendar days upon receipt. In addition to the question, the member's name, tract, and lot number, telephone and/or email contact information must be included. Members may not yield time to other speakers. For the consideration of other speakers in the 25-minute time limit, members are requested to speak to the board only once during members' open forum. Members will refrain from being argumentative and making derogatory or personal remarks or gestures.
Wow. I thought we were to line up. Finn Migan, 3566362, Chair, Board of Directors. I'm obligated to state that it is my personal opinion and not that of the Government Documents Committee. Before I address my main topic, I want to give you a compliment. This board works better than most I have seen. You get things done, and most important, you do not spend our money like drunken sailors. No offense to Mark Bailey, who's a sailor. Now the main topic. We have been flying something called CRM, stands for Cockpit Resource Management. I may be flying alone, but I still have resources. The board has many resources. You have each other, you have the staff, you have legal counsel, and you have, more importantly, committees. Committees are dedicated to help you make PMC better. This is my 8th year on GD, aka Government Docs Committee. I have a pretty good idea how to write them, and you have 6 other very, very smart people on that committee. GD's comment, charter number 1 is, this committee shall is an important word, act as an advisor to the board in matters involving government documents. Simple, right? This month you have a resolution to change the rules for all committees. I agree they should be revised, but what's the rush? I recommend you table it. Why not send it to GD for review first? Same thing last month. You had to change to a bylaw. Was it sent to GD for evaluation? No, it wasn't. Who cares? Same thing in the month before that. I have read your proposed changes to rules for all committees, and in my opinion, it could be written better. That's what we do in GD. Something else. I discovered 4 months ago that we have business policies that should be in rules, B1 to B11 to be exact. I requested to see all business policies, thinking there might be more. Former Chair Emmett refused. Even B1 through B11 was off limit. To this day, I've not seen all of them. Last GD meeting, we were shown a list of the names of business policies, but we are not giving the list. It was only shown to us. We were not given or shown the actual policies. My question is, why this secrecy? Business policies are part of the government documents. It's how we operate. I formally request all documents relating to PMC POA be made available to Government Docs Committee for review. If we find it appropriate, we'll make a recommendation to the board for your consideration. As I said, this is my personal opinion. If you want this request to come from GD, let me know. I know I volunteer to be a pleasure for the board. It should also be a pleasure to be on a committee advising the board. Sorry to say that. Right now, it's not because we're not allowed to do the job. I hope to see a change. To close, a 10-second example of why using your resources work. I mentioned CRM. I was flying a Mooney 252, a sports car in the air, top speed 250 miles an hour. I had problems getting it landing gear down. It is considered a major problem. I used my resources and called the manufacturer. I talked to the engineers that designed the landing gear. They solved the problem. You can solve problems too.
Thank you, Finn. Just pause 1 second. I'm going to answer, Finn, if you give me a second here. Thankfully, we're on the same page and a few steps ahead of you. So I hope that's reassuring. We have been figuring out a means of internally starting a library database of our files and it be set up in a way where departments that interface with these things have appropriate access to view them. Because what we've had issues in the past with is that a lot of our policies were being distributed physically, and then trying to keep track of updates and current versions of those policies was not necessarily succeeding in everyone's kind of book and records. So one of our big internal pushes right now is to develop a system within our association software to have a central place for all files, both PDF and Word documents, that are not inaccessible with staff changeovers and stuff like that. it takes a little bit to get that done, which is why you're seeing a little bit of a delay here. But I am in direct communication with your chair of governing documents, Elizabeth Gilbert, to work out a way where committees that also interface with these documents have as well an accurate full copy of what they're dealing with. I agree with you completely. It's useless for us to ask governing docs to work on things if you don't have the full context of what you're working on. You know, my ask of governing docs last weekend in modifying a communication policy was to say, can you please go spot check this across our other policies? You have to have access to do that. So it is in the works. It's taking a hot second to get there just because we're juggling a number of things in the process. You'll have a chance here specifically with Article 19 to add some additional notes to this. And this is something that did come up in the governing docs meeting on the 2nd of August, I believe, to give comments on the currently posted draft of that document. And we acknowledge as well that governing docs was dark the 2 months prior to that. And so you'll see once we get to our resolutions that we're going to withdraw again, and we're going to do a third draft to do it right and not just shove through something because it was posted. So there is an opportunity still in the next few days to give commentary to anyone on governing docs. Any member, honestly, can give commentary to this posted resolution, and we will integrate notes, and we still have time to post it again for the 30 days to the September meeting, and we'll do it one more third pass to get it right the way it should be. I hope that answers most everything.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I appreciate the feedback.
I also thank you for attending our meeting last month.
For sure. It was a pleasure. I'm really excited for the governing docs team, you guys. I just want to reiterate again, I think we have fantastic expertise in our community, and I really value that people take the time to go to those committees, any committee, honestly, and participate. And it's, again, a huge value to the board. We are not expertise in everything, and it's really helpful to have insight on what we're doing that does bring expertise to the table. So, again, all our committees, you're very valuable.
Yeah.
Carolyn.
Woohoo. Thank you, Finn.
Carolyn Gilbert, 3508530. I wasn't planning on speaking until my application got pulled. And it is my understanding, as it has in the last couple of board meetings, where you cannot deny an application unless I've done something extremely poor, I'm a felon, or I'm perhaps a member not in good standing. I'd like to set the record clear as to why I believe Sean has requested my application to be reviewed. We were in a meeting where the liaison generally will start the meeting until we have the proper form for a chair. The meeting started, and it was started incorrectly. So I asked Andrew if I could speak, and I spoke with Andrew, and I said, this is how we do things. We open it up to the liaison will start and grab a chair. The chair then grabs a vice chair, grabs then a secretary. You then start your meeting, and then you go into the charter, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I took on that position because I asked, and Andrew said, you know, that's not his forte. He is a, you know, an IT guy, and go ahead. So I did. I processed it. And while I was processing, Sean was doing this to me and asking me basically to, like, stop talking. The process needed to occur. We needed a chair, we needed the vice chair, we needed a secretary, and then we needed the charter, and then the meeting conducted. And that's how that system went. I know that being on the board for the last 3 years was a difficult one, and my last year in particular was, for me personally, horrendous, and it has left some major scars in the way that I think about things, unfortunately. And I know that Sean and I don't always agree, and I'm okay with that. That's what makes the world go round. But it doesn't give anybody the right to pull my application, which is not allowed unless there is some major reason of like being a felon or whatever. I was on the committee from the beginning. I didn't always show up because I had other commitments at the same time. But I have been a part of that EP since day one or day two, give or take. I wasn't allowed to be a member because I was on the board and I was a director. But I have been with James and Andrew and the rest of the group. So I'm very much insulted by the fact that a director chooses to pull my application for a committee that I have been involved with for over 2 years.
Let me just backtrack and ask you for a second. Andrew Jones is the chair of EP.
He is correct.
He's returning. There really would not have been a need. The way that things should have worked was Andrew should have made an agenda for their July meeting.
Correct.
Go through their chair, vice chair, treasurer. He should have run that agenda.
He and I have already spoken since then, and I said that I would help him with his agenda if he needed help. That isn't his forte. And James was running the meetings prior to that anyway.
Okay.
But
Was
let's put all of that aside. Let's put that all aside for right now. We'll just table that section. There is absolutely no reason to pull any member's application unless I am not a member in good standing, which isn't true, or I'm a felon, which isn't true, and I haven't done anything to disrupt the meetings. And I haven't sent out any false information.
Here's what I would like to offer here. Would you like Sean to speak to this publicly, or do you like to join us in executive to deal with this in executive? Because I don't know the context to why he's bringing this.
May I add something?
Just a minute, please. Karen,
Is it going to be insulting to me?
would you like
Are you
us
going to defame me in some way, Sean?
No, we should not be doing that publicly.
That's why I'm asking if he's going
Carolyn, I
to.
would like to bring this into executive, and if we need to correct it next month publicly, to do that. Because I don't want to put anyone on the spot here to,
Well, unfortunately, I can do that. I can go in executive, but it's already been put on the spot. It's already been recorded, and it's already a huge embarrassment.
I
It
get
was done
that.
to Finn. It was done to Bill.
I know,
And it
because
was,
you also had valid concerns last year on the board with Finn.
but we learned that it was not allowed unless something occurred.
I don't think there was a definitive determination there like that. Every committee member is, hold on, Carolyn.
No, I'm listening.
No, I know, just there was a traffic jam behind you.
Oh, Paul, wait.
Every member is considered by the board, which again is why we want full context on an application. If there's something that's going on, I would rather we discuss this in executive, but we
Fine.
also have to be able to pull the application from the consent agenda. We can't just approve it and then renege on the approval.
I understand that, and I do understand that the board, with or without cause, which is what I expect, with or without cause, can pull any member for any reason, with or without a cause.
I appreciate.
I understand that, but it's also very disrespectful to me as a human being who has been a member already in there.
I appreciate you giving what you believe is your context to this, because again, I don't know the situation. I would like us to address it in executive. We will then have more information. I will have more information to be able to deal with it then at that point. I don't want to be hashing this out publicly. But Carolyn, I do thank you for giving some context to the meeting. It's appreciated.
Good morning. My name is Paul Mobley. Got my pool card, 3402307. I was going to say these meetings seem to be less stressful than in the past, but I stand corrected. I want to thank
Still
the,
not bad, Paul.
it's not that bad.
Any kind of business is going to have hiccups, and
Okay.
you have to work it out somehow.
I understand. Again, as a member that was denied access to being on a committee, I know how Carolyn feels, and I'll just speak to her. It doesn't feel good when, for any reason, a member can be denied getting their input. A few weeks back, I wanted to contribute to our wonderful community and speak on the subject of roadway safety. I've spoken on this issue several times. There was a secretary that needed to stand up in front of everybody, get in line, and that day I was not allowed to speak because the 25 minutes were consumed. That day I had a sign I purchased from Walmart, $3.53, about roadway safety. My point is we need to have a way to address safety issues that don't get bogged in committees with every hand having to touch it. $3.57 at the dollar store. I picked up chalk, 3 packets, cost $3.75. I can write chalk. Slow down. We have a severe speeding issue. I live on Birchwood Way, about 3 or 4 houses down from the stop sign, and people are driving 45 miles an hour in front of my house every day. Every day. We've had a bear hit by a car. Claim wasn't speeding. I question that claim because most of the people that drive these roads, more than half are speeding. Okay? Every day. I've talked to Bob Wyatt. I recognize every committee member here is protected by insurance from lawsuits. Okay? So this is a cost-benefit analysis. You guys on the board will be sitting here for 3 years. You're protected by lawsuits. But someone in our community will have to respond to that child, to that animal that's run over, that bicyclist that's hit, or that young teenager that inadvertently is texting as they're driving. We need to start paying attention to this. This board has had to deal with petty issues, Facebook issues. This is a real issue. One day, the patrol is going to get called and say, we've got a very severe accident. Someone died. Matter of time, not matter of when. We have focused our community on fire safety, and I think that's a great idea because it will be an existential threat to our community if a firestorm goes through here. And that's a high visibility issue. But not one of, James, you did speak about slowing down today, and I appreciate that. I speak to people as I ride my bike through the community, and most people are very open to it. So my point is, it's not about ignorance, it's about, And I'm proposing a way to do things low budget, low impact, in terms of bringing attention, and they call it roadway calming. Simple as painting quail along the roadway. We've got a big speed bump. Bob, you know about it. You can't go 5 miles an hour across that speed bump. It wasn't there for a while back. We've got a speed bump in our parking lot. I'm not supposed to be even riding my bike in the parking lot because there's a sign that says no bike riding in the parking lot. We need some come on. So e-bikes are now the bike of the transportation of the future, and I will just remind people, when a soldier was injured and standing in the battlefield, they didn't send a horse, they didn't send a man, they sent an e-bike into the battlefield to get the man out. So Sean, we need to do something now.
Can I mention something on this?
Yes.
Just so you know, Paul, the sign that you gave me, I in fact did give it, and it's on James's desk. That's number one. Number two, both James and I have had situations on this roadway where somebody actually almost killed me just recently. So we're very much aware of what's happening on that end.
Thank you.
Professional driver. Third thing I'd like to say is that I made mention to James, and he was going to, I'm sure at some point he's going to bring it to the board, of possibly bringing in some of those speed bumps on some of our high-risk streets. That's what we're looking at right now.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm just being upfront, transparent, so you know. Of course, the wheels have to keep moving round and round, and we're doing the best we can under the circumstances what we have, because there is a lot to deal with. But we are definitely looking into it, and we're definitely doing something about it.
Thank you. And I'll remind, I spoke to Karen, Todd, James. This is not a day-to-day issue. Askin Drive is set at 25 miles an hour, okay? People are parked along that drive. That needs to be the first area that we take care of right away. I've talked to Jennifer when she was the acting board. She said it would be good to get a 15-mile-an-hour limit there. There's ways to accommodate, people when there's no parking to allow it to be 25, but it's ridiculous to think that some people are driving 35 miles an hour. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Hi, I'm Leslie Branda, 3567119.
Sorry.
You repeat your name?
Leslie Branda, Branda. I just wanted to bring up something. First, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who is giving attention to safety and emergency preparedness and evacuation, fire prevention, and other things. Those are my top priority for our community right now, with all the fires that come about. And I feel like we've been a little bit surrounded when we look at ourselves on the dot on the Watch app. But I also wanted to bring up something that happened a couple weeks ago, and it reminded me that perhaps we have a great communication department, and I think I want to join the committee, by the way. I'll put in an application. So I like to hike, and I like to go far, and I go places where I probably don't have reception and just don't even know about it. But a couple weeks ago, we went out pretty far and had our dogs with us. And then when we came back, one of our dogs ran away. And we have chips on our dogs. And I'm talking about a girlfriend of mine who you guys all probably saw on Facebook, missing the beautiful blue-eyed dog. We went searching everywhere for 2 days and hiked everywhere. Well, I was wondering if the communication could be something of a relay like we have for our radio systems, and if we could introduce something that might give us more wider range when we're out in the beautiful areas surrounding our city, not just within. And I think, and I don't know much about the technology, but I was wondering if the words could be written down that we look into something like having repeaters or Wi-Fi repeaters. Perhaps we have some kind of a satellite system, like some kind of an extension to getting. What happened is that finally the dog came home and she couldn't find him based on this Apple, we have these Apple tags, and it just popped out of nowhere. She got a bing, and that was 2 days later. So we found out wasn't really too far away. I mean, he still had his leash on and was all in good condition. So it wasn't really that far. He was up Freeman and off to one of the hills, went up above. So it could be simple, and I'd be willing to help with this. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Nope. One more.
One more.
Good morning.
Quick question, that's all.
Of course.
My name's Raymond Bridgers. Number is 3566427. Last year, there was a lot of talk in terms of emergency preparedness, which I do thank you for your renewed attention to that. But last year, there was a lot of talk about we're going to revitalize the old siren system. But then all of a sudden, I just never heard anything else about it, so I'm just curious if that went away or what happened with that.
So I want this to be a twofold response. And I say that because one of the policies we're going to put into place later on is to have a board meeting recap email that goes out that takes any questions like we receive here in open forum and does kind of a Q&A style to answer that question. So I want us to follow up in that format as well, because I would like to nail down concrete information. I personally have been asking about these again, and I'm getting mixed information. I'm hearing some that even though we do have sirens, maybe on all towers, water towers, they're not loud enough. Maybe they're not on all towers. To do like a dedicated system, kind of like in the Midwest with tornado sirens, that is exponentially out of our budget. I don't have a concrete answer. And so I want to have some follow-up time to give a concrete answer. Because again, same thing with our text alert system. That was something we were also testing out the last couple of years. Or we were wanting to do it, and then last year tested it out. Or it was part of Sync. That was one of the incentives to that software, was having this phone alert system. There are other standalone providers and systems that allow you to alert over text. So we're looking back into that again. But I think those are two areas where they've fallen off the radar a little bit because they either hit issues or lost momentum or unsynced with things. But I'd like us to pick back up with those. I think it's important that we know what our options are and that we convey those options and determine a plan moving forward. So thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Old business, there's none. New business.
So this is my resolution. This is Article 19. I would like to motion to withdraw this resolution. Again, for the issue of making sure we do this right. Governing docs, the prior group was dark for 2 months. And then we established our new governing docs team, and there was valuable feedback from also members as well, emailing in valuable feedback. So I would like us to take a hot second, integrate a final pass of notes from governing documents and other feedback we've received, and post this again by August 20th to have it for 30 days for September's meeting. So I'd like to motion to withdraw my resolution.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Great. Any additional feedback from the membership on Article 19? This is common rules for all committees. If anyone does think of anything in an additional review, you have until August 19th to send in notes to either the board or to governing docs, and we'll integrate feedback. All in favor? Great, thank you guys.
Now, Director Gates.
I need to amend this. There's a correction that needs to be made in the second whereas. I forget, do I make the motion and then amend? Remind me.
Make the motion to amend.
I'd like to make a motion, move the adoption of the following resolution as submitted.
Second.
And I would like to make an amendment to that resolution, because in the second paragraph, it's, again, some context. This NRCS grant was complicated. There wasn't a great deal of information available about what it was, how it had been managed, and what was left to be done. I was really just recapping the prior grant from the NRCS as a way of understanding what we're trying to approve today. The prior grant's really not that relevant. It's just an explanation of how it had looked at the past. And And the reason for the correction is the original grant was for, the one from 2022 was for 107 acres. It was reduced to 87.5. So when I present these numbers of 150 that was to be paid by the PMC POA, everything got ratcheted down.
How would you like this to read?
Okay, I'm just, so the context is, the numbers aren't really that relevant, they're just there for context. So it should say a total of 150,000 should be, 150,000, delete has, insert, was to have been paid by the PMC to date, delete verification necessary, and we're fine.
Okay,
It's just an idea what the original umbrella looked like. It was a grant for 170,500. Our participation was to have been 210,000. Keeping with the getting into the weeds expression, it's not that relevant. It was just an idea to see how the NRCS operates. And then,
so we're going to do this in twofold here.
so do we have so you want to amend that to correct it, and then we'll go into discussion on what actually is.
So here's what we're
doing here.
going to do. We're going to close out this amendment.
Thank you.
This is the motion to take out has and put as was to have and take out verification necessary.
Correct.
John has seconded that.
Correct.
All in favor of making that change, and then we will go through.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, now, Director Gates, I would like you to read through the full resolution.
As amended.
As amended, yes.
My pleasure. This was one of those surprises that shows up that take a lot of research. But Resolution 02-816-25, approving the evaluation of a $150,884 grant from the NRCS for Greenbelt fuel reduction. Whereas in 2022, the association was awarded a $170,509 grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture Natural Resource Conservation Service, not our normal source. That's the NRCS, initially conceived to reduce fuel load in 107 acres of Greenbelt and subsequently reduced to 87.5 acres because it was too close to water sources. The 2002 grant was payable over the years 2022, 23, 24, skipped 25, went on to 26, and required that the PMC POA cover any costs above what was provided by the grant. Whereas the three-bid process at the time determined the PMC POA needed to fund $210,000 of the costs above of what the NRCS grant provided in order to qualify for grant funds, more than just dollar for dollar. The 2010,000 share of PMC POA cost was approved in January 22 by Board Resolution 115-2022. A total of $150,000 was to have been paid by the PMC POA to date. That'd be for the years 22, 23, 24. And the balance of $60,000 scheduled to be paid in 2026. Again, those numbers have changed, but they provide the context for what we're asking today. Whereas the NRCS has presented the PMC POA with an additional grant proposal for $150,684 to reduce fuel load in an additional 46.6 acres of greenbelts, commencing in 2026 and payable through 2030. And whereas it is not determinable at this time what the financial commitment by the PMC POA will need to be to honor the obligations of this proposed grant. Initial approval of the NRCS grant by the board would be followed by a bidding process with qualified contractors and any financial commitment required by the association to honor the cost sharing requirement required by the NRCS grant will be contingent upon board approval and open session once the bidding process is complete and actual costs are known. Basically, we're keeping,
Keep reading.
Keep reading.
sorry. Resolved that the PMC Board, POA Board of Directors approve Resolution 02-816-2025, approving the grant agreement with NRCS, and be it further resolved, the General Manager James Williams has signatory authority to execute the NRCS grant on behalf of the Pine Mountain Club Property Owners Association. If the General Manager is unavailable, the Board Chair, Candace Bennett, is authorized to execute the grant on behalf of the PMC POA. Period.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Can I speak to this for a hot second?
My pleasure.
I'm going to simplify you. This came up quickly on our radar. NRCS has a deadline on their end where we need to basically confirm that we would like to still be considered for grant money. That is our deadline right now. Today is to basically sign a interim contract just to hold our place in the queue for this money. So our decision today is not agreeing to spend anything because we haven't researched any of that yet. It's a very extensive process. It is just saying we don't want to lose the opportunity of this $150,000 if we deem it worthwhile to have. And in order to not lose that opportunity, we have to sign this interim contract today. That is the gist of what we're dealing with right here. It is holding our place in NRCS's queue because they have allotted money for us. If we decline this today and say, too much unknown, we're going to research all of this, we're going to decline to sign this contract, they will take us out of that queue and assign that money to some other organization. So that is the urgency of today in a somewhat odd resolution where we're not spending anything yet, but we're wanting to sign something. That's what this is.
I'd like to add, this is a very complex process with the NRCS. I mean, through the Department of Agriculture, this is through Kern County. In the past agreement, the one that still hasn't expired, we had a certified technical services provider, a forester, who actually wrote, I don't know if it's gotten to EP yet, a 72-page assessment of all our risk factors that was the basis for these grants. That forester is not available anymore, and so I don't believe we have the technical expertise to proceed unless we can identify that in the bidding process, someone who can actually weigh in so that we are in compliance with what we agree to do. Right now, that last year is kind of hanging out there, and it's a little unknown. So, very complicated. We'll get 3 bids. We'll find out what the cost is, and if we can get the forester, being a TSP, Certified Technical Service Provider, recognized by the NRCS, could then assist us in the implementation if we can find that person at the same time.
The other piece I want to add to this too, this is an agricultural grant, not necessarily a forestry grant. And why I bring that up is because there are limitations of where they can do the clearing, how close to any kind of waterway they can be doing anything, and then also how close to any property, any homes they can do anything, and then what kind of grade they're working in. And so the initial survey and assessment for the first contract eliminated a significant amount of our trails, greenbelt areas because of those various factors. So what we're really weighing right now is what areas of land do we have would even qualify for this, and the amount of work it's going to take to get all the determining factors together and the bids and then execute on those bids. The other stipulation of this grant as well is that the NRCS allots a certain dollar amount per unit, per acre. There's a certain price that they will reimburse on that. It's not necessarily the price for a contractor to come in and clear that acre. Some of their program is really just an incentive for organizations to be doing this, but not an intent to cover the entire cost. So again, we're looking at what areas would qualify to be cleared, And is it worth us putting money into those areas versus finding ways to spend maybe that same money in our green belts through a different organization? All of this is, again, incredibly complicated and does rely on some expertise. So we're taking this slow to make sure that it's worth our time and resources and actually clears areas that merit being cleared, because there are some other higher priority areas in this. So,
Okay.
any additional comment? If none from the directors, I'd like to ask any member comments can come to the podium now.
Lauren Vela, I don't have my member card with me, but I can give you an address, 2716 Arctic. I'll get it to you later. I was just wondering, it's just, as you were talking, Randall, I was just wondering, what about the $150,000 that was to have been paid that wasn't? I mean, we still owe that, right?
May I respond? Okay, yeah, so. There's not a very comprehensive book of what was done, why it was done, and how it was changed, and what we have and what we don't have. So really, we've been focusing on what do we need to do going forward versus spending, at this point, after meeting the representative of NRCS, there are some minor things that still need to be done for a minor amount. We did not pay the full 150 because the scope was reduced.
I see.
NRCS is happy with what's been done so far. There's some cleanup on that area that could be done with our own personnel. So I don't even know at this point if there's going to
Could be
be
adjusted.
out-of-pocket costs to put the 2026 portion of that original contract to bed. But
I understand.
I don't have a nice spreadsheet that said, here's how this started, and here's how it got adjusted, and here's where it is now. And so I'd rather just focus on how do we make sure NRCS is happy with our compliance,
Sure.
which is why I like the idea of a forester. Even it's outside of our skill set, we need to accept that and say we need someone who really lives and breathes their type of work so that we don't enter into something we can't comply with, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, so I can't tell you precisely. It was meant to just give you an idea how they've worked in the past.
Yeah, no, I'm having worked with grants for the vast majority of my professional career. I totally get how complicated and confusing, and you could work with them, things change as they go.
Is this you signing up to help?
No. No.
I'm going to get you.
No, no.
have a
But I,
volunteer, okay.
but I do, I just want to sideline, appreciate that after the conversation about a resolution, that there's the opportunity for a member to ask a question right then, because it's really helpful, even though I know that can delay the meeting, so apologies for that. But it's really, really helpful. It's like these pressing questions, oh, wait, we're on to the next thing. Just saying, love that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further member commentary before we vote on this? Okay. Did you have another comment?
Well, I was going to also, real quickly, I spoke to Durham Fire Safe Council, and they're also going to be giving us a list of grants that we could be going after as well that they can't necessarily go after. So this might even help piggyback onto this type of grant, and will help us more with forestry monies. So we are looking at those options as well.
That's where I want us to take a hot second to see, where our effort is best spent. Risk reward here, because this is, again, a significant amount of work, and it's a little unclear of what we really get out of it. It might not be worth our time. So, okay, approving just holding our place in the queue with NRCS. All in favor? Thank you, great. I need to just step out for a hot second. My little baby showed up in the back of the room.
Take two.
Do we need to do a bathroom break? Okay, sorry, guys.
5-minute
We're going to
break.
take a 5-minute recess for everyone to use the bathroom. Thank you.
Bathroom break. That was. Loved your music. Oh, good.
No, yes, because you're separate. Was it me? It was you. I messaged you on Facebook, and because we're not friends, it probably went to some
Weird place? Okay,
So
I'll look for it.
And, no, okay, thank you, yes. I, what I was asking you is this, they needed a secretary, and I typically am not here to do in person. And it is challenging in that committee meeting, for some reason, we don't. And so, like Debbie didn't know. So I was asking this, I think it's true, because I've gone through this with other, I've been on many boards.
Yeah.
Never as president, I never took the whole thing.
Okay, good, yeah.
What I mean is, I think I can report, right? Because, because I'm gonna ask them if they can report it for me and send me some, because I don't wanna miss what I need to document.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then, I mean, not that I was gonna ask you this, but Randall says I should contact you about this, but he also says, ask her about the chat GPT.
Okay, that's a component too. If you're using Zoom has a feature that will record the entire meeting and then succinctly.
Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
I would like
Okay.
to, because I'll have to learn it. I'm not used to monitor. I just go on and listen. I don't normally set it up or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that should be really easy for you.
And
So I'll look into that, and I'll look for your message. I didn't
thank
see
you.
it.
And if it is that I don't hear from you when it's getting close, because I gotta, do the meetings for next month in Zoom, I'll reach out. I'll get your number.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hey. I'm ready. No, I don't. I don't even know why we. Hang on a minute. Thank you, Michelle.
Okay, if I can have everyone seated again, we're going to resume the meeting.
We have a bunch of motions, but they're all.
Okay.
When everyone is seated, I'm just going to go over for a few minutes while Candace wraps up her family needs. If I can have the audience settled with discussion. We're resuming the meeting. Thank you so much.
All right. You guys, I'm so excited. This next part of the meeting is special. My beloved friends are in the audience, part of the Bear Committee, and they're going to come up and give a presentation on all of the research and recommendations that we've been working hard on. Yay, this is Carolyn Smith. Carolyn Smith.
Carolyn Smith, 3566252. I've been on the Bear Committee since its inception, and we've worked really hard for what we've put out here. I want to thank you for your support for the committee and your willingness to convert it to a standing committee. It's an important ongoing issue that will need specific focus for some time, I believe. As a result of our extensive research and investigation into mitigating bear-human conflicts, a great deal has been learned about what's effective and what isn't. We reached out to other communities in a similar situation all over the U.S., resulting in the valuable data and effective tools set forth in our report and recommendations, which are being presented to you today for approval. There are many in our community who are unaware of how to protect their properties and vehicles from bear break-ins. As stated in our report, the primary cause of bear-human conflict is access to human-provided food. Encouraging homeowners and tenants to eliminate food attractants such as garbage, pet food, unclean barbecues, birdseed, and unharvested fruit from fruit trees, and securing properties with adequate locks, window coverings, and using deterrents such as electrification of windows, doors, and doormats can prevent 80% or more of break-in incidents. Hazing is also an important component of reducing break-ins, and property community education can assist in making sure it's done safely without endangering residents or bears, so bears will feel unwelcome near our homes, sheds, and vehicles. A robust education campaign is vital in creating an atmosphere of awareness that will help reduce bear conflicts and protect residents and their properties. At a minimum, this should include bear-aware signage at strategic areas in our community, as recommended in our report, flyers distributed to those who live, work, or visit our community, educational presentations, dissemination of accurate bear break-in statistics to members via weekly emails and social media, along with tough enforcement of our rules against intentional or unintentional bear feeding. Additionally, an important tool that we discovered during our research implemented in other communities is a Bear Ambassador program, which has proven to be extremely effective. This program provides for a single go-to person to educate homeowners on how to protect their property and vehicles. Utilizing the newly recommended patrol report form, the ambassador would contact homeowners after a break-in, assess what went wrong, educate them on what they can do to prevent future break-ins, and point them to effective mitigation tools with local contacts for repairs and installation if needed. The ambassador would distribute up-to-date educational materials on an ongoing basis and maintain and analyze statistical data on break-ins looking for patterns or trends in order to help with more targeted education and mitigation efforts. The ambassador would communicate much-needed accurate information to members and be a liaison with California Department of Fish and Wildlife to report break-in statistics and stay up to date on current information and educational materials. While this position can initially be a volunteer, it's been found to be most successful as a paid part-time seasonal position, which allows for consistency and reliability, which we hope will be considered during the next budget cycle. Again, thank you for your interest and attention to this important issue, and hopefully we can work together to create an awareness that will significantly reduce this problem. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Good morning. I'm Carla White, 3402286. Thank you for approving me today. This is my renewal. Basically, I applied in the spring. I just moved here in November last year, part-time. I'm still not full-time yet. And I was super excited to live in the mountains, and especially with wildlife around. I'm an animal person forever. But I've never lived in the mountains before, and I've never lived in bear habitat. So I was very happy to meet the ad hoc bear group, and thank you for making them a committee. And I started attending their meetings in the spring. I can't take any credit for this beautiful report that they gave to you, submitted to you. I was very pleased with how they did evidence-based and how they looked at other communities like Tahoe, Yosemite, Aspen, Colorado, and really was impressed with that research that they did. Our goal is to become a bear smart community by proactively reducing bear attractants and implementing education, signage, and the strategies that PMC already has that are working. I've learned a lot from the bear group so far, and I know I have a lot more to learn. But two of my takeaways are pretty simple, and I just wanted to share them with our community members. I heard the lady say that her dog got away from her, and I know it was on leash. She mentioned that. But dogs running off leash are a huge concern. And when they run, I mean, my dogs, unfortunately, they're old men, so they never leave a leash. But dogs have, that habit of running ahead. Now, if there's a bear nearby, they could startle the bear, which could then cause a confrontation. And either your dog could get injured, or the dog comes running back to you to protect you, and then here comes the bear behind him. So that could be a huge concern. So please make sure you always have your dogs leashed. And another thing I learned from the community, but also I got it in Alaska, and this is a bear bell. Uh-oh. It's got a magnet to make it stop ringing. And so I wear my bear bell all the time. I walk. I actually live by Paul on Birchwood. And so I'll walk down to the village and I'll wear my bear bell. And I know other people put them on their dogs. But this is a simple little thing you can do when you're walking. And, hopefully you can implement that. We meet once a month, typically the first Monday of the month. But because of Labor Day, we're going to be meeting on Tuesday, September 2nd. At 5 o'clock in the pavilion. And also I wanted to invite those that are here today. Carolyn went and met with California Fish and Wildlife and got a lot of literature. So please feel free to take some of that. And then we'll have that at our meeting September 2nd, 5 o'clock. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So now, motion to approve a volunteer bear ambassador position for the Bear Committee's, per the Bear Committee's recommendation.
Second.
Thank you, Nicole.
Any comments by the board, questions? Yes, Sean?
Mike.
Mm-hmm.
This is a,
Your mic.
Yeah, your mic.
I can't hear you online, Sean.
Sorry about
this
that.
is a non-paid.
First time nobody's been able to hear me.
Yes, a non-paid volunteer position until we do the budget next year, and there would be a consideration at that time to budget a paid position if we feel it merits that.
Excellent, okay.
I assume at that time we'd have a detailed job description based on how the volunteer functions.
And we have one.
Must.
So I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
This is the interim plan to have some kind of position until there is the budget conversation next year.
Is there someone in mind already that you may have for this volunteer position?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
mean,
I have a human in mind, but I don't know if that human's going to want to do it. I think this will give us permission, though, to start looking. We haven't put a lot of energy into looking and considering who could do it because we weren't sure if it was going to be allowed. So now we will begin searching.
So we're not looking for a bear to do it for us.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Any other comments? Any other comments from members before we vote on this motion?
Ron Freeman, 2716 Arctic.
Okay.
I don't have my number handy.
Same number as Lawrence.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to make sure that this, as Sean pointed out, this is being presented as a volunteer position. But yet I keep hearing, next year in budget, that it sounds like it's already a done deal that this is going to be a paid position. And I'm vehemently opposed to us spending money on something that, for instance, we have free literature. I think everyone here has been very, very exposed to the information, and we still need to move forward in that area, but I don't see the need for that to be a paid position to gather information from the Forest Service or other cities. This is how we treat things. It seems like it should still be a committee job, and rather than a paid position. And as Madison was talking about going forward and start talking to people, I don't want it to be, I don't think it should be presented to them that this is going to be a done deal paid position.
For sure, for sure.
All right.
And again, there is no guarantee. The initial request, I believe, was for a paid position, and our response from the board was the budget is locked, We're not going to hire someone right now in a paid position that's not allocated. If we want that, it needs to go through the proper budget consideration next year. And if there is agreement that it should be in the budget, then it is factored into next year's budget. But this is a perfect kind of interim plan to trial run, what would a position look like? And is it something that can be expected of a volunteer? Or are we again going that, tipping to asking too much of volunteers when we should be paying someone to do it? Because that seems to be kind of an MO of our operations that we want to avoid exploiting that position as well.
Thank you.
Sure. Madison.
Yeah, just to second what Candace was saying and speak to this a little bit more, we were intending to gather some data about the effectiveness of this position and then be able to present that when the budget is open for discussion. And we also were looking into making this a seasonal position if it is paid at some point for like peak bear season. We know bears are out all year round. But summer months, warm months would be the time we would need it the most. And we have learned through our committee that there's a lot of shortcomings with communication between our community and Fish and Wildlife, Patrol. There's a lot of missed opportunities to have stronger relationships there. And we really need an advocate for our community to be the main contact point between these different components of our community, I guess. So I think we need somebody as a main contact to help us with these issues as they continue to escalate.
Josh.
Yeah, I'm more aligned with the gentleman that just spoke. I think a lot of this probably could be handled with a YouTube video linked directly from our PMC website to teach you how to be bear aware. And so we're not, I don't want to say wasting resources, but until there could be some documentation proving that we actually do need this, I think there's a lot of avenues that we're not really looking down to show you how, like, be simple to create just a PMC internal video. This is how you bear aware your house. This is how you make it safe. This is what you don't interact with. And we can make a 10-minute video that people can watch, and that's, that solves that without having to pay the position.
Mm-hmm. Can
sure.
I comment? We have looked into that, and you'll find in our research report that we have done a ton of research on this position and the effectiveness of it in other communities who have black bears. So while there is a lot of seemingly obvious information out there for our community, we continue to see an escalation in bear break-ins and issues with bears. So while for some of us it's kind of obvious and we don't have bear issues at our homes, there's plenty of people who are not following these guidelines, and we need to have more effective information put out there more regularly and use more evidence-backed efforts to do so, and that's part of this bear ambassador position.
Nicole?
Although I imagine we will revisit this debate when it comes time, because right now we are talking about a volunteer position. Just want to ask more clearly, did you research, are other similar communities, do they have a bear ambassador?
Yes.
It is a paid position and it's
Yes.
seasonal, et cetera. Okay, so we're
Yes.
using that as a backup here as something that works. We
Yes.
know that they're doing it. These are communities that have success in this area.
Yes.
So that's important to include in the conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
How many of those communities are associations like ours, or those state-funded positions for those communities?
There are communities just like ours, paid through HOAs or POAs, like Tahoe, for example.
I want to keep us on track here, because we are just looking at kind of the first bite of this in a volunteer, because that will get us a lot of information. We'll be able to see, effectiveness, what the scope really is, what resources are needed, and then be able to take that data and then present to the board at a later point, if need be, a paid position. Yes. Any other comments before we vote? Oh, yes. One, yes. Come to the podium, though.
Okay, Leslie Branda again. I just have a question. It sounds to me like it's a possibility that Patrol could be doing this work, because you're asking a volunteer to go out and go to people's homes and, spend a lot of time, where Patrol's the one, they're always out. I'm just adding a suggestion to consideration that perhaps Patrol could be carrying the data, the information to hand out to people. Just as thought.
I can speak to that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. As a committee, we have implemented a new bear report sheet that we're asking patrol to use. So when they're going out into the community and they're addressing bear issues, they're documenting a lot of data easily and then hopefully compiling it. But the compiling of that data and how it's presented, how it's understood, we're hoping that would be done by a designated person. We already have seen, again, some shortcomings with patrol when they're so busy and they're getting call upon call upon call, being able to follow up and actually document things appropriately. So we're trying to work with them to be more efficient with specifically bear issues too.
Great. Awesome. Okay, are we ready to vote? All in favor of a bear ambassador volunteer? Great.
I know, right?
Thank you.
Awesome.
Volunteer. Yes.
I italicized my voice. Great, thank you. All in favor?
Too much love.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to approve the Speakeasy Theater Club.
Any comments by the board on this one?
We have to second that?
Oh, yes, sorry. I'll give it to Randall. I heard him.
Give it to Randall.
He doesn't get too many of them. Any commentary by the board? Questions? Anything? Any comments from membership on the Speakeasy Theater Club? Okay, great.
Actually, I do. There's no, we're not financing anything with these clubs, right? Certain clubs?
No.
No.
And there's certain clubs, like, okay.
The only situation where I would say there is any kind of financing, and it's not even that, there is an option sometimes for if a club would like the association to be its bank account and like hold its funds. So like archery, for example, dues can be taken through the front office. There is a standalone archery fund that the association accounting handles. That's one way. The association is not funding that club at all. Another way, Garden Club, for example, they have their own bank account, their own entity. Association does not handle their funds. And again, the association is not funding them in any capacity. So correct, yeah.
Right.
Sean?
Yeah, real quick question. Now, I know the Speakeasy uses this facility, the Condor Room, at certain times. Do they reimburse us for the setup, breakdown, anything like that? Do they?
I think we would need to revisit in a broader scope what the relationship is, because I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I just want across the board with all clubs, basically.
I don't know exactly the dynamic we have.
Okay.
That might be something more that James can either speak to or look into, but I think we're looking at just what we're doing and how we be consistent in that, and is it our best practice? Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, after that last event, I need to look into it. I mean, that's I don't have information, to speak to it, but I'll look into it.
All right.
Because, we are looking at labor. That's a lot of labor. So.
There is a balance of, it is an offering by the community and servicing opportunities and activities and things in our community. It's not something like this is an outside entity that we are setting up for. So there's a balance there of looking at, what are hard costs versus what are kind of soft benefits to the membership.
As being part of the club, I can also let you know that we only collect donations, and they rarely make it above our costs. So money actually goes into each production, and sometimes those costs are substantial. They're all out of pocket from the individuals in the club, and we are fortunate if we at least break even, just if that helps.
And, well, for clarification, it wasn't, I didn't mean to take it out on the Speakeasy. I was just talking across the board. That's all. It had nothing to do, because I think the Speakeasy Club is wonderful, but it was just that was just the question.
Way to step in it, Sean.
I know.
Any other commentary? Any issues or questions from the membership before we vote? Okay. All in favor of approving the Speakeasy Club? Great. Thank you.
Motion to approve the Pickleball Club roster.
Thank you, Randall. James, I'm going to direct this at you. I didn't have a chance to touch base with Adele in the last week. I would like us to be seeing not just rosters to approve, but full, like, charters. Because I want to also make sure our clubs do have charters and procedures for how they operate. And specifically for pickleball, I am aware of a situation with a member trying to join, and they're having a hard time getting in touch with the president of the pickleball club. And I think there's a little bit of a gray area there, specifically for this club in particular, where if someone wants to play pickleball, they have to be in the club, I believe, to be able to rent equipment. And if they're not in the club, then they can't go play. Is that not the case? Can you come to the mic for me for just a hot second, Ron? Thank you.
Just in our experience, my wife has gone down when we've had guests here and we want to play pickleball.
Yeah.
And she would rent, or not rent, you just go pick it up and use a net that they hold in the golf shop. If you want to use the pickleball club's nets, which are all handy and right there, you have to have the code to unlock them. You can't do that unless you're a member of the pickleball club.
Okay, that's perfect information.
And then the other issue, so that you can be aware of this, there are 4 nets available to borrow at the golf club. They are not all complete sets. There is one because my wife literally said, okay, look, I don't know whose job this is. Let's get all the parts that are necessary and make at least one set. So someone needs to look into those type of issues.
Yeah, for sure.
Just to make sure that if we're going to provide it, that we do provide something that actually functions. Oh. So, yeah, that was our other solution, which we did. It's like, okay, look, I don't want to be a member of the pickleball club, but I want to go down there, and I don't want the hassles of trying to pick up that net. We just bought one that's
Gotcha.
our own. So
I would hope a lot of these issues would be clarified by the charter that would be in our packet and not just a roster. So my question, James, for Adele right now is just, can we circle back with pickleball to get a charter to approve? And if they don't have one, they need to have one. I don't want to have a club operating outside of our procedures for clubs. And we can revisit that one next month. Any other comments? Yes.
Yeah, 2 things. I'm curious why we're being presented with a roster that's dated 12/31/2024. And the other comment I have, which is kind of related to that, is there are members listed on here. For example, Brad Hudson is there. I think we all know he no longer lives on the mountain. So it doesn't seem up to date, is my comment. I hope that when they resubmit, they can give us a current list.
I would love to see, James, and I'm sorry to add to your plate here, not just an acceptance of materials, but that we are approving a complete packet so that, yes, they are current members. Part of why we're asking clubs to submit this information is that a certain percentage of members can be non-POA members. So, for example, someone in, Lake of the Woods could be a member of the Garden Club as long as the non-member percentage does not exceed, I believe it is 30%. So part of the step that I would want to see in submitting this to the board is that we've verified the members on a list to ensure that we're not exceeding that 30% limit. And that would also catch if we have members who are no longer on the Hill. For to the point of Brad Hudson, he can still be a member of the pickleball club and be part of that non-member quota. If he's visiting and still comes up here frequently, that's appropriate. So there's, again, it would just be nice to have, yes, agreed a current date, not an old roster, and just an approval by the office that we're in the correct percentage of members to non-members. Randall?
So this is asking for us to approve a roster. It isn't asking for us to even approve the club. Should we
Right.
just defer this until we have a proper application for,
I would like to, yeah,
okay.
defer it and request a complete set, and that be our protocol going forward.
Okay.
And that way we know we have everything with everyone and we're not doing the second guessing of club information.
Okay, yeah, I'll look into that. I haven't been involved with any clubs, but
Yeah.
I'm a little confused because we control the use of the pickle ball, but there's a tennis court there. I mean, what, I'll look into it. I'll get up to speed. I'll get some folks on it and we'll go through the whole process.
This is where I think their charter would be helpful, because there was debate in the past too of kind of who has the time on the court, and some friction between tennis and pickleball.
Dun, dun,
So
dun.
this would be helpful to clarify that.
Yeah.
For deferring an item, does that mean we just are,
You can let it die.
Yeah.
okay,
Or we can
Randall?
vote and not have the votes to approve it. But I think the deferral.
I'd rather
unless
just
Sean's
defer
better.
it, yeah. Randall,
Withdraw.
okay.
Okay. And then motion to defer the pickleball club roster.
We have member comment.
Yes.
Oh,
good, you're here.
Hello,
Sorry,
Adele.
I'm not dressed for the occasion, but
It's okay.
I'm Adele Martin. I don't know my tract and lot. I just know I live over there.
I'm glad you're here. I didn't think you'd be in the office.
What I wanted to say was, each year, we put out a letter to the clubs and committees telling them it's time to renew and whatever, and they're to submit their charter and their bylaw. Not all of them clubs, all of them have a charter and a bylaw. Some may just have bylaws, some might just have charters. It is the responsibility of the president of that club to submit to us a current list and any changes. We always say in the letter, if there's any changes or additions to your bylaws or your charters, please let us know. I cannot arbitrarily change that.
For sure.
I don't have that permission. So the Brad Hudson issue, I couldn't change, and he does still come up here.
You can be a member.
Yeah,
still,
exactly. And I vet because in this resolution that I have, it says non-members shall not constitute more than 33% of each club membership. So I go through each one and check to see if they're a member, not a member.
Perfect.
And then if it's, usually the percentage is very low for non-members. So I just wanted to clarify that we in the office, I personally cannot arbitrarily change that. That's the responsibility of each president or chair of that club.
Can I ask, what is our procedure for if they don't submit, if they do just the roster and not a charter or a bylaw?
They are requested to either put in the charter or the bylaw. And you can only send out so many email reminders.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, I did what I.
Because I'm wondering at this
instructed to
point,
do.
do we
You can kick, well, you
hold-
can kick
hold
it back
approval
and
of this
say,
until they-
you're not going to approve it, till
Yeah.
they,
They need
submit it.
a full submission, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not fair to any other club.
And most everybody is really good about that. But really, again, it comes down to the responsibility of that president or that chair
Okay.
to make sure that that's current.
Thank you so much, Adele. This was very helpful to have you here.
And this, obviously, resolution is old, but this is in the clubs and committee book. So if
Yeah.
if you want to look at it or whatever.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Nicole, you had a comment?
Yeah, just to speak to who's listed as a member who may be still participating as a non-member, we have that individual listed with a tract and lot number, so it's a bit referring to what Candace said about the 30%. It's incredibly important that that be
33%.
done and updated, even if they're no longer on the Hill and
Well,
still.
again, wouldn't it come back to the president of that committee?
Oh, yeah, I'm not
crossing
trying to
out?
throw that
Yeah.
on you at all. I'm
Yeah,
just
saying.
reiterating why that was a flag for me.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I would like us then to kick this back to the pickleball club and ask them to give a current roster, member versus non-member, and their charter or bylaw.
Second.
I don't think I can make a motion, though. So, Sean?
I motioned.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just need a second.
Second.
Okay. Can you reread your motion?
Yeah. I just motioned to defer the pickleball club roster.
I would
Do I need to add more?
I would add to that, because there's specific instruction here that in order to be approved for this coming year, they need an updated roster
Charter.
of members versus non-members, and either a charter or bylaw that lays out how they operate.
Retract the first, second, and I second that.
Gosh, okay. Motion to defer the. Oh.
I'm so sorry, before you close up, I just wanted to ask if there is a protocol. For instance, you're talking about one of the clubs that the person who runs it is not the best in communication on the telephone, or even perhaps creating a bylaw or creating some document. Could there be something similar that they could just do the fill-ins and it's a form each and every year, that they just do the same form every year, but it's changed with what input they put on it? So make it easy for someone who wants to create a new club and/or who just doesn't have those kind of organizational skills.
I appreciate that. You would need to look into it, because having been part of the garden club in the past, there was a very specific charter written up to serve that club. And so it was not really broad enough to be a form.
But even for each club, that same year, every year, they just, the next person who comes in to be the president of it.
That's what we're hoping to see here, because this is not the first approval for pickleball. This has been a club for a number of years now. We're hoping that it's just in someone's file or email, and it doesn't need to be written. That's what we're aiming for. The association is really not the one who establishes clubs. It's the members, the individuals who come together to want to do something. So there needs to be some rallying around a president like that, of a vice chair and a secretary, to help compensate for where there's strengths and weaknesses. Because there really is not the bandwidth within association staff to be doing this kind of paperwork.
Well, if it is just something where you are, this organization has a guideline at least, and then if it is that each one presents, then each year they can just go back to the last year's one at least.
That's usually how it should be done. Yeah, there is not a rewriting every year. It's a.
I just wanted to make it easy, because I think that it's nice to have these clubs, and I wouldn't want to see it go away.
For sure, for sure.
Leslie, I think a good middle ground, something that would be helpful, is that the chair of, or I guess the president, whatever it's called for this club, can go to the part of the website that has all of the committees, et cetera. The charters are all available for public view. You can just look at some examples.
That's a good
and to clarify, Candace, I think, said this, but just to clarify, it doesn't need to be rewritten every year unless there are significant changes. So the only thing that would be edited every year is the roster, if it's been updated, and that's it. So once it's done, you don't have to worry that it has to be done on an annual basis, just resubmitted.
It's just that for some people, the first step is the hardest, that's all.
Yeah, and then
so when you present something like, follow this link.
And I'm happy to
Copy this.
provide you with our theater club charter, if that's helpful. We only have, whatever. I'm sure we can give you examples so that you can give it to the president.
Most people who want to organize something, they do know how to organize, but then again, I think the pickleball just kind of came about and then became a more formal club. So I think that may have been the reason why. Anyhow.
I'll be able to give you examples, so it should help.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Sean?
As I recall, they had Philip Gabriel was part of that pickleball club. And if that's still the case, him being a ex-board member, I'm sure he would also be able to help them come up with some kind of document for the board. And he knows that it can be done.
Yep. I do want us, though, to revisit, because we're looking through all of our policies and governing documents as we kind of encounter them, to see, is our process clear? Do we have all our checks and balances? Is it consistently applied across all clubs? That makes the board's operation smoother, the office staff as well. There's procedure, we follow it. There isn't kind of this scramble of, what do we do, Because we also don't want to be targeting any clubs or playing any favorites. So just establishing our procedures and following them. Okay.
I'll reread it.
Thank you, please.
Yes. Motion to defer the pickleball club roster with updated roster that will include member and non-member designation, charter and/or bylaws for how they operate.
Second.
Any additional comments from anyone before we vote? All in favor? Great. Thank you, guys.
Uh-oh. Motion to approve the Tuesday Celtic Session Club.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Sean? I already wrote Sean. I wrote Sean, sorry.
I think that qualifies as a split second.
That's pretty funny.
Out, Randall, out.
Sorry.
Any comments from the board on the Celtic Session Tuesday night music? Any member commentary? All in favor of the Celtic Club? Great, thank you. Okay.
Motion to approve the Pine Mountain Gardeners Club roster and elected officers.
Second.
Thank you, Sean. Any board commentary? Yes,
Yeah.
Sean.
I'll tell you that these people are really wonderful. They really keep their area very clean, very crisp. They're always on top of everything, I've noticed. And matter of fact, I'm going to try and reach out to to the garden club to see if maybe they might help us with the front of our facility and see if maybe they can plant some plants for us or something of that nature. They're always very willing to step up, and so yeah, I think that they're a very right on club, and that really help and benefit the community.
The only comment I would say to that right now is I was the prior president and I stepped down last month because this obligation is obviously a hefty one and I could not fulfill what I wanted to with the club. So they are in a bit of a transition and they're acclimating to kind of interim leadership. And I would just maybe pause on requesting anything with them right now because they're getting their footing and kind of figuring out how they run their operations. So don't overburden. Any other comments from the board? Membership, any garden club comments? This is specifically the organic produce enclosed area. The native plant garden next door is a separate entity. Okay, all in favor of the garden club? Great, thank you.
Motion to approve use of the golf course for the first annual Kern Fire Safe Council Golf Tournament on September 13th, 2025.
I'm definitely going to second that one. Been working too hard.
Okay. This is just crossing our I's and dotting our T's. We were going back through our minutes from the last 6 months, and we've talked about this event a bunch in these meetings, but we did not formally give a board approval. And technically, for charitable events of this nature, it should come before the board. Right. So this is a technicality that we are taking care of today.
Correct.
Any other comment?
Yeah, this is a very important golf tournament for Kern Fire Safe Council. We not only have the second district representative, Chris Perrier, coming. He's going to be bringing in 8 golfers with him. He's sponsoring it. We have 9 holes sponsored by the merchants up here and all local merchants, with the exception of Chris and Farmers Insurance out of Ojai. We also have a lot of individuals that have stepped up, merchants that have stepped up. They're going to be giving us gifts for silent auctions. It's going to be a great day. We already have two tee times, 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock. And This is going to be a wonderful day for everybody. We're going to have music, we're going to have, food, there's going to be bars up, and, yeah, it's going to be a great day just for all the members. You don't even have to play golf, just come out and enjoy.
Fantastic. Any other comments from the board? Any membership comments, concerns? Great. All in favor of our golf tournament? Oh, did you have a comment? Are you
No, I'm just.
voting?
I'm waiting.
Done. Okay. All in favor? Yes, that was, yes. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okie dokie. Motion to authorize the placement of a lien on APN numbers 316-043-010008 and 316-121-0300.
No one wants to second that one.
No.
Okay.
Okay, Randall, thank you.
Thank you, Randall.
I hate second.
Just for everyone's clarity, we don't disclose publicly properties that go into foreclosure. These are the identifying numbers for those. And again, we don't take this lightly. These go through various steps to hopefully bring a member into compliance with assessments. This is kind of the last resort to deal with a property. So, all in favor? Thank you.
Motion to amending Business Policy D2 Condor Monthly to the Seasonal Condor, which will be quarterly.
Second.
I'd like to read this business policy in case it has not made it in front of anyone here. It's a quick couple pages, because it does give some context to what we're trying to do with this publication. And I'll just read the clean proposed outline. The Seasonal Condor. The purpose is to establish guidelines for the Seasonal Condor, a newsletter that informs members about association activities and business while promoting Pine Mountain Club as a community. The policy for it. The Board of Directors shall establish the Seasonal Condor as the official PMC POA newsletter to inform members about association activities, business, and community life, and to provide paid advertising to local business entities and members in good standing, wishing to promote local businesses. The board shall provide editorial guidelines and authorize a content review process to ensure quality and accuracy. The distribution schedule is the following. A fall publication, August 1st, winter, November 1st, spring, February 1st, and summer, May 1st. The newsletter is finalized 10 days before the above dates and is sent to printing. It is then mailed to recipients requesting a physical newsletter and emailed to all members on the appropriate distribution list. The Seasonal Condor editor shall be an association staff member, contracted position, supervised by the general manager. The editor is responsible to carry out editorial guidelines and to ensure the production schedule is met. The editor may be assisted by the general manager, the chair of the communications committee, the board liaison to the communications committee, an association staff member in the event of a contracted editor, and one communications committee member appointed by the chair of the communications committee, all of whom act in a consultative capacity. Additional assistance in mailing may be provided by volunteers. The review process, the general manager, the editor, the chair of the communications committee, the board liaison, and the communications committee member shall review the content of each quarter. Oversight shall be concerned with the quality, layout, and accuracy of the content in the publication. Editorial guidelines. The Seasonal Condor may accept advertising. Advertising shall be limited to PMC, local members, and business entities. No political or religious advertisement will be accepted. Advertising may be further limited pursuant to rules established by the editor and staff. The Seasonal Condor shall cover upcoming association events, business and election matters, recommendations for how to prepare for the upcoming season, information from committees relevant to members, example, evacuation procedures or home hardening, as well as featuring highlights of the community. PMC members are strongly urged to submit articles and photographs concerning association events to the Seasonal Condor. All submissions are subject to editing and may or not be published. Letters to the editor will be welcome from members. Letters must include members' full name, tract and lot number, phone number, and be marked clearly for the attention of the editor and submitted to the association via the Contact Us form on PMCPOA, PineMountainClub.org. Physical letters may be mailed to PMCPOA Post Box P, PMC, California 93222. The deadline for the submission of letters will be posted in each quarterly publication. This is the same from the last policy, but letters may or may not be included depending on space availability and at the discretion of the staff. Short and concise letters are to be given preference so that many viewpoints can be included in the letters section. Letters must not exceed 250 words. Due to space limitations, letters may be published at a later date. When possible, the editor shall inform the writer of such a delay. To qualify for publication, a letter must be courteous. Each letter shall include the statement, "The writer is solely responsible for the contents of the letter," and acknowledges that the viewpoint, opinions, and validity of facts expressed in a letter are those of the writer only and not necessarily shared by the editor or the association. Letters chosen for publication are likely to be edited for brevity and clarity. So again, I alluded to this in my opening remarks. This was something that, out of the survey data that is now available online, we gleaned a lot of communication feedback from our membership, and our monthly condor was the kind of second highest preferred means of communication, to our weekly email blast being the first. And so this is definitely a valued publication, but I think there is significant improvement in how we execute on it, what the content is, the advertising opportunity there, really making it be a standout kind of lifestyle highlight of the community has been lacking for a number of years. I've seen past versions of this that were really kind of stellar publications. Again, we were intending to roll this out at a little later date just with the bandwidth of things, but we have some staffing needs right now that would benefit by moving this to quarterly and giving us some breathing room to lay out a template and put out a quarterly plan in just our current staff needs. So that is the impetus for this being on today's agenda. Any questions from board members? Any audience feedback?
Hello, Finn Meingen again. Business policies are not technically government docs, but they are governing us. And I think this should be sent to government docs like anything else. We may not have anything to say about it, but we should have the courtesy of getting that information and giving our opinion.
So to answer this, this was done with kind of just the chairs at this point. This draft was sent to the communications committee last Friday with a 4-hour turnaround, and also sent to the chair of governing docs to make sure that we were not conflicting with any other policies.
Okay, I did not get it.
Correct. That would have been a discretion of whether the governing docs chair. My understanding was that the committee had until 8 o'clock Friday night to give any feedback because we're up against a deadline.
I did not get it.
Okay, then we should circle back with the governing docs committee. Again, this was an outlier situation. It was this, or we take the publication dark for the moment. So this is our plan to proceed with a way of keeping the publication alive.
Quick question. I like the idea, but quick question, and you may have said it, but I didn't, just for clarification. So is the editor of the new quarterly Condor a staff position at PMC, or is that coming from the communications committee?
This would be our plan right now, would to be staffing it in some capacity and not relying on volunteer committee.
Okay, so right now, the next quarterly Condor will be going out, I think you said in November.
Will be the kickoff.
So sometime between now and then, we're going to be getting an editor.
we are going to figure out how to staff this to cover that. Yes.
I see. Great. Also, I know you and I had some back and forth about this, but opening advertising to allow non-PMC, I mean, Frazier Park vendors might be interested in that as well. Just want to make sure that's on the record so that we know we can consider that.
Definitely a consideration to understand how broad our advertising can be, both in what we message out and what we can receive in, for sure. Yes. Any additional comments? Okay. All in favor of adjusting the Condor Monthly to the seasonal Condor for quarterly publication? Great. All in favor. Thank you.
Motion to approve new business policy D7, post-board meeting recap email.
This is shorter.
Second.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sean.
Now you
This is a twofold objective here. One, if we move the Condor publication to a quarterly, we still want to have a monthly touch point with our membership that is delivering the chair reports, GM, treasurer, highlights of our board meetings. But we were also seeing that even with a monthly Condor, information coming out of a board meeting published 2 weeks later was almost irrelevant at that point. So the objective here is to provide kind of a buttoning up of a board meeting where the following week, whether it's maybe a Saturday or Sunday, if we pre-program, an email send to go out, that recap email gives you links for the chair's report, GM, treasurer, the recording of the YouTube, the live, and meeting highlights, plus any questions asked in a meeting that require follow-up or merit follow-up, a Q&A style, kind of letters to the editor, that is then sent to the membership. And so if you miss the meeting, this is your go-to place for association business the following week. Couple items with this, it also puts in some checks and balances where, we're accountable to send something out to the membership. That means these reports are linked on our website. That takes care of that to-do list. One other item I want to call out here too is there was some feedback in the past. I'm getting this hearsay, it was not directly given to me, but that legal counsel had advised that the board does not answer member questions publicly. And that seems a little backwards to me because if a member is asking a question here in Members Open Forum, it's a public question. And if I'm answering it in this moment, I'm giving a public answer. So what is then the difference if I give a written follow-up answer, 15 days later? Where I think this actually puts some boundaries on it is that if the board is crafting an answer to a question and it's in this publication, we're not forgetting that it's a public answer. There have been issues in the past where members have emailed follow-up questions to the board or to the chair, and it was answered just directly back to a member in email. And it's kind of easy to forget, oh, this is not a private interaction. I can't guarantee this is not being shared. And I need to be checking myself and checking the rest of the board that our answer is appropriate for public communication. If I'm disclosing anything confidential in an email, that is inappropriate. I need to roll that answer back. So this gives a little more, again, I think just kind of checks and balances to how a board communicates information to the membership, where it's very much in our face as a public forum. How do we craft our answers appropriately that they are safe for public consumption? So that is our intent here with this policy. I don't want to start this off with a guarantee we will have this out in August because we do have to put some new systems in place to do it. And we'll be walking through the motions with both our secretary and staff to accomplish this. So our best attempt will be made to have something come out next weekend, but we'll just need a little bit of grace to make sure we do it right and have all the pieces in place. So,
Thank you.
any comment from the board or membership? Thank you, guys. All in favor of a board meeting recap email? Great. Thank you all. Thank you.
Woo. Information and correspondence. Environmental control recap for the month of July 2025.
Received.
Okay. Patrol recap for the month of July 2025.
Great.
Okay. The board sent and received 9 items of correspondence. Right. Directors Forum. I believe Director Gates, Nicole Gates, is going to present the 2024 survey data results.
Yeah, I'm just happy to communicate the steps that Candace has taken to allow members access to the 2024 survey data results. They are all in report form. The website link that you can find those reports at has been included in your agenda. And for those who are not looking at an agenda, if you go to www.pinemountaintclub.org/PMC-POA-committees, you will be directed to the reports. There are 3 phased reports from the survey data. The first is financial related information. The second is on amenities, including satisfaction and dissatisfaction, as well as open member input into changes they would like to see, reasons for dissatisfaction, et cetera. And the third report is a compilation of all remaining items, because there were many, and it covers everything from the post office usage to bear break-ins, et cetera. The committee was hoping to allow members to access this information more readily by releasing phased survey reports, and again, that was a fantastic idea that Candace had. However, there was a delay in making these public because the information was, in the past, always released at the same time as the strategic plan, which has also been compiled and approved by the committee, but is being delayed a little bit so that we can fine-tune some of the action items by checking in with committee members. Some of them need to be just run by James really quick so that when it is released, it's completely up to date with any changes that have occurred from the time that it was essentially being drafted to this exact moment in time. So once that's complete, it will also be made public for the members, and I believe we're planning on holding a town hall.
Yes, we do want to do the next strategic plan town hall to present all this.
So then that will be followed by a town hall where the information will be shared with the members and all relevant questions answered. Yeah.
I want to give a huge, huge shout out to Nicole and Madison and Lauren and Gail and Bob and the rest of the planning committee, because this was a tremendous amount of work. And to be able to go to a document, look at a table of contents, go to that item and see a very comprehensive rundown of not just the raw data, but the actual insight from that data and how it relates to our community is such a fantastic tool for the board, operations. Really, it is a beautiful insight into our mountain. And again, I know people can be disheartened when things take a year to do them, but if you look at, committees meet once a month for, 2 hours, that's 24 hours. This was a lot of work outside of committee time to accomplish, and I just want to thank you guys for all the work you put in. It's a really valuable tool, and I'm looking forward to going through and looking at our next kind of set of action items and what that path looks like for our community. So thank you guys. And just to clarify, on the committee's page, it's linked under the planning committee specifically, and you'll see the 2021 data as well linked there too. So there's some legacy there as well for members to look at.
Okay. So I'm up first for Bear Committee. I don't know how I'm supposed to follow, though, Carolyn and Carla's presentation. I feel like they did a really beautiful job sharing what we've been working on in our committee. I will say that we had a member step down and leave the committee, Lynn Stafford, and he contributed quite a bit of knowledge and great perspective, so he'll be missed. We did gain 2 new members, though, Chris and Sim, and if you don't know, Sim is the snake guy. So he's a great person to have on our committee. Yeah, so our committee is growing, and we have a lot on our plates, and we're working really hard. One clarification point, so because Labor Day is on a Monday, we bumped our meeting to the following Tuesday, the next day, Tuesday, September 2nd. I had in the minutes 4:30. So it's at 4:30 instead of 5. So it's a little different in September. We're going to meet Tuesday, September 2nd at 4:30 p.m. to accommodate Labor Day. And that's it. Okay. Director Randall Gates, Budget and Finance.
Since you asked. The Budget and Finance Committee met on August 13th, excuse me, 5 o'clock. For our meeting a month ago, we didn't have a quorum. We now have a chair, Elizabeth Gower, a vice chair, Debbie Bailey, and a secretary, Leslie Branda, so that we intend to have minutes on a timely basis going forward this year. And it was a good meeting. They discussed the proposed changes to the charter, the Budget and Finance Charter, and the committee recommended approval as presented. So we can go ahead and take it out of edited format and make that final. We deferred the discussion on Article 19, just because that was still in motion, and be visited at a later date. And George did start the review of June 25. There were a lot of good questions. It's a very active committee, and since this is just a preliminary phase for the June 30th, we'll have a further report to go up in a month. So there was no recommendation to approve it yet because they hadn't gone all the way through it. But a very good start and some good suggestions on variance analysis and things like that. Again, the whole goal to make this simpler to understand. More complex is an easy thing to do. So that's all.
Thank you. Director Bennett for Communications.
We had our first meeting 2 Tuesdays ago, the 5th. A great meeting where our now chair of communications, Lauren Bella, synthesized my smattering of ideas into, I think, 4 very key elements for communications. First being, how does the POA communicate to the membership and in what capacities? How can members communicate to the association and with what channels? Our emergency communication procedures, all of that. And then also our marketing and promotional effort on things, because that's definitely something we can be improving upon. They have an additional member coming in next month in our approvals. So they'll have 3 members. So we are always looking for more people on communications. Leslie, I'm already penciling in my draft agenda for next month with Madison. I'm excited for this committee. I think it has great membership and insight, and I think it will be a key component to assist our staff in how we improve our communication. So now that they kind of know what we're trying to accomplish, their next effort is their charter and laying out how we accomplish all of this. So again, members are always welcome to join. Thank you.
Thank you. Directors Coulter and Arman for Emergency Preparedness.
That's on me. Okay, so we did have our latest meeting, July 26th, and we have a chair, Andrew Jones. Vice Chair is James Douglas, Treasurer is Jennifer Nato, and Secretary is Leslie McCleary. Thank you guys very much for all of that, all their hard work that they do. It's been a real awakening for me being up here for 25 years, watching these people really step up to the game. We now have, oh, excuse me. We now have different tracks, what they call tracks, that they work on. So each department, each person has a very specific duties. Right now, we are definitely working on the bulk purchase of radios so that members can actually purchase radios from the clubhouse. That will be happening very soon. They were able to get very reasonable prices for those. So that's very exciting for us because right now we have approximately 270 members that have radios that are actually signed up, which is unheard of in any of the mountain communities. We are number one in the state of California. So that's really exciting. As far as the track 2, which is Earthquake, on October 16th, we will be having the Great Shakeout. This will also include, especially a design for CERT. There'll be all hands on deck. The radio network will be implemented. The emergency preparedness will be doing their thing. So it's basically everybody's going to be working together in tandem to make this one of the best shakeouts that we've ever had. We also have had presentations from the Red Cross, American Red Cross. So I would love to see more people come and help volunteer, not only for CERT, especially the young people. I'd love to see more young people coming in and helping us, but also with the Red Cross. We're trying to get that trailer up here, which has items that will be used for emergencies, blankets, things of that nature. And once we get that up here across the street, that would be a real big coup for us. We are working on the wildfire safety program. There is the FireWise pilot program. So if you're not registered for that yet, please register for it. It's very important. We want to get everybody on this mountain part of that FireWise community. It will help not only reduce the reduction of fire in our area, but it will also help you get a better price on your insurance once you get the certificate. You talk to your insurance company, they'll tell you all about it. I've heard everything from 2% all the way up to 25% discount. So that's a real big thing especially for us right now. Severe weather, we are going to be looking, we have track 4, and just make sure that there's weather communications task force, things of that nature. I'm telling you, Mark Greco and all these people that putting this stuff together really deserve a big kudos. They really step up. They really step up. CERT really steps up. RSN really steps up. And they really are working with the emergency preparedness. A lot of these people are actually part of all these committees. So we could use more help. I won't deny it. We can always use more help with CERT and RSN, things like that. And of course, lastly, once again, we have the golf tournament. Let's not forget that. Let's come on out and support this because it's really going to be great for the community. Our next meeting is going to be August 23rd at 9 a.m. in the pavilion. Thank you very much.
Sean, can you clarify how individuals should be registering for the FireWise USA program? Like, for example, I wouldn't know how to do it, and I would love to.
Oh, all we have to do right now is just go right over to Joe, and Joe will do it over here at EC. He has the list. We just put your name on the list. We have Wendy Ward that will be coming in. She's part of the current Fire Safe Council. The day, we're making the plan right now. I haven't even come to the board. This is going to be brand new. I'm going to put it out on you right now. We are trying to work out that Wendy would like to do a Firewise community talk. And that will, I believe that was, she was talking about doing it September 12th. And where members can come in, it's a question and answer. We're going to be, anyone who wants to be interested in the Firewise program could do it. I'm sorry?
I think she's willing to meet with the board.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think so.
board? Oh, I thought it was, okay. Oh, my mistake, I guess it was going to be
Put her
board
in
first.
contact with me.
Huh?
Put her in contact with me.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Because I know there was a discussion.
So as it is now, once you sign up with Joe, an individual comes to your property and assesses
Yes,
your
so what happens is every member that gets onto the Firewise list, we will have representatives will come in, they'll look and make the assessments for you. They'll give you a list of things that need to be done. Current Fire Safe Council can help with the implementation, help people who don't have the financial possibly with Team Rubicon, and we might be able to get some people up here with volunteers to help people who need that help. For fire mitigation. Once we have that all set up, and each area has their own little committee, and all you do is sign a little document stating, for example, I did 2 hours of service on my land, I did this, I did that. All those moments count if you hire somebody and they do your clearing for you, and they take 2 days to do it. You document that. That counts towards your certificate. Once everything is kind of done and we, have a monthly or bi-monthly, we could check everything out. You will get your certification, and then you just give that to the insurance company. Yeah, it's really amazing stuff. And it will help with fire mitigation. It really will.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
Environmental control.
The C committee met on the first Friday of this month, as usual. They approved a gazebo in Lockhart Garden. They will raise the money for it themselves. We reviewed one single-family home that had to redo their elevations again, and one new garage that needs to submit scalable site plans and elevations. So it was, incomplete. That's all.
Thank you.
General Manager Williams, Family Resource Ad Hoc Committee.
Okay, no update yet, but we did select the date and time. So the first Saturday at 11:30, we're just going to try to roll in right after the governing docs meeting so we can take advantage of the Zoom equipment and be all set up. But that's where we're at now. Love to see some applicants and some growth in that soon. It's exciting, please spread the word. We need volunteers everywhere right now. Thank you.
Director Randall Gates for Governing Docs.
As Chair Bennett has been interfacing with the chair of the committee, which is Elizabeth Gilbert, I'm going to defer to her to the update because I've been out of that loop.
Kind of forgot I went to that meeting. Kind of forgot. It's been a long 2 weeks. Governing Docs kicked off their new season a few Saturdays back and tried to lay out for the committee just how we interface, committee to board and that relationship of reviewing documents. One of the big hurdles that I think we will be tasking the committee with is a cleanup of our business policies. The board did meet last month in executive to walk through each policy and look at, can these be forward-facing versus internal procedures? And the kind of overarching determination is that, yes, they can be member-facing, but they need significant cleanup. There's a lot of outdated information, outdated formatting. So this is something that Governing Docs is thinking about how to kind of modernize this process and lean on software and technology to help us have a way of reviewing documents, syncing to cross-referencing, civil codes, corporate codes, policies, our internals, all of this. There's some great expertise on this committee to look at how do we manage all of this in an efficient way going forward. So it's going to be a slow step to get there. We've just been gathering kind of all the pieces in order to look at this. So the committee kind of went through the notes from the board, gave a little bit of feedback on Article 19 that prompted the move to remove it like we did today, and we'll re-release again. They also elected their officers. They have Elizabeth Gilbert as chair, Mark Greco as vice chair, and Gail Paterino as secretary. And we're basically kind of going to find a balance of kind of this long-term objective for Governing Docs to upgrade our business policies, but then also be accessible to the board in reviewing things monthly as they come up, because that really is kind of the workflow of our needs right now. So I'm excited to work with them and with Randall as well, and be able to bring efficiency to all of our stuff.
Thank you. We're going to skip Director Bailey for Greens and Grounds because he's not here. Okay, Director Coulter and Armin for Kern Fire Safe Council.
Well,
Was there anything else that we missed?
But there is, real quickly, obviously, we're doing a lot for the Fire Safe Council. I wanted to do a quick shout out for some of these people who have actually stepped up to the plate and given a lot of money to us. Rustic Roost, Firma's Insurance, Lisa Boverson. We have Fraser Mountain Internet Service, Pine Mountain Club General Store, Bear Claw Bakery and Cafe, Sunny Hill Realty, that's Mark Bailey, The Hermit, Hungry Owls, the Supervisor, 2nd District, Chris Perrier, the Rustic Roost again, they give, the Pavilion Accent, Bigfoot Cafe, and Chef Heidi Marsh is going to be donating as well. And I just got a word today that Jeffrey's Candy is also going to be donating. All these individuals here have been donating to this cause. It's that important. And that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, Director Nicole Gates for Planning.
The committee met to review changes made to the charter with a couple of additions, and otherwise discussed Article 19, Common Rules for All Committees, as the charter states. They do at the first meeting of the year.
Thank you.
The charter will be presented so that the changes can be approved for September.
Okay, thank you. We'll skip Director Wild from Mill Potrero Mutual Water Company. He's
One thing I want to note with that, just a reminder, sorry.
Yeah.
Is I believe September 5th is the start date of drilling out here on the golf course for this well.
Ooh,
I think that's the right date.
September what?
I think September 5th.
That sounds right.
It overlaps with our last movie night, I believe.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure it's flagged. But it is going to be 24-hour drilling. You're giving me looks like
Yeah,
it's
that's
changed.
a real flag on the play. Because I was always informed that this was going to happen after the 13th, after the golf tournament, not during the golf tournament. And this is a real
Okay.
red flag for us.
Don't quote me on anything I just said, Sometime in September, the drilling of the well is going to start. And I defer to those who know what they're doing to let me know when that is again. In my mind, when I was at their water company meeting this summer, what flagged on my radar is that it overlaps with one of our movie nights. But I was not paying attention to the date of your golf tournament. It will overlap with the pool because the pool usually runs through like all of September. And it's going to overlap with the pool too. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, not to cause a panic, but it's coming. What kind of caught me was it feels like summer still, beginning of summer for me too, and we're at the end of it and fall is rolling up and things are happening and now it's like, oh shoot, it's over.
It's confusing.
Yes. So anyway, the drilling's happening at some point, 24 hours, 30 days.
Yes.
Probably should message some formal reminder
Yes.
of when this is happening.
I just
Anyway.
I just sent a text to Rob Caruth, so hopefully he can
Good.
let me know. Once he
Awesome.
lets me know, I'll let y'all
I
know.
want his number. That would be handy.
I'll give it to you. Okay. Should I publicly announce it? No, I'm just
Thank you.
General Manager Williams for the Pine Mountain Club Commercial Property Owners Association.
Okay, attended the first two meetings. The first meeting, they held they opened their ballots, and got to see that. And they elected officers on the second meeting. Other than that, there was a project that was mentioned in their minutes at the first meeting that referred to a project our association was working on. I think it was the Veteran Memorial. I saw it mentioned. And Bob and I were approached by a member that is actually going to work on a memorial on his own expense. So since then, I've spoken with that member, and I'll arrange a meeting with him and the commercial district so that they can possibly discuss a location. His first intent was to maybe locate it out here in the island, and I didn't think that there was enough traffic over there. I think it might be more appropriate in the commercial district. So I'll try to get them coordinated and be a part of that, and hopefully have a good update on that. Other than that, it was just their second meeting, business, internal business.
Great.
All right. Members Rebuttal Forum. Members Rebuttal Forum is a 10-minute forum following the Director's Forum. Members may reply to any matter raised by a director during Director's Forum. Replies will be limited to 1 minute per speaker. Members wishing to be recognized should step to the microphone, address the chair, and state name, tract, and lot number. There may not be an immediate verbal answer from the board to questions or comments from the members. Members may not yield time to other speakers. Members will refrain from being argumentative and making derogatory or personal remarks or gestures.
Thank you, Finn Weigand again. I am very happy to hear that Government Docs is going to get the business policies. For 3 months, I tried to get them from former chair Emmett, and she refused. So I'm happy that we're going to get them. Do you have a time frame for when we might see them?
I'm hoping in the next week.
Thank you.
Your next meeting as a committee,
Yeah,
you will definitely have access to these.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. All right. Guess what? Adjournment. In the July 19th, 2025 executive session, the following was discussed. Litigation, potential litigation, 1. Contracts, 1. 1 discussed, 1 approved. Forbearance agreements, 1 discussed, 1 approved. Foreclosure requests, 0. Hearings, 1 and 1 approved. Appeals, there were 3. 3 discussed, 1 approved, 2 dismissed. Personnel, 1 discussed. In the August 4th, 2025 special executive meeting, the following was discussed. 1 hearing, 1 approved. Personnel, 1 discussed, 0 approved. The next regular open board meeting will take place on September 20th, 2025 at 10 a.m. in the Condor Room. Motion.
Third,
Fourth, fifth,
motion to adjourn?
and it's, what time is it? 1:17. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your weekend, everyone.
Haven't heard back from the long one.
It's hard to correlate that approval of a contract. I want to revisit. We should name,
Good to have you back. We missed you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad you guys are involved in on communication. Oh. You guys are power for real.
Are you still awake?
see if I can remember my answer.
Yeah, well, special one. I made it.
This, you bring up a question, and it's, I've been discussing it.
Editing it last night?
Oh, okay.
Normally, you would be commingled with the operating.
Okay.
George is. But normally you have the operating fund and the reserve fund. That's it. Here we have operating property and reserve. Slow it. We have so much else.
Don't worry about it.
George likes this. We've had a lot of.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Oh, but had they been combined, it would have had no impact. Because it was going, we're now reporting on operating fund. Oh, I don't like it. It wouldn't have an
Reset.
really, just moving from, we're moving from receivables to property. Oh. The accumulated deferred assessment, we have a balance. Single assessment. Those are all the funds that have accumulated while we're operate, and then when we foreclose, that's our basis.
Oh, yeah.
That's our basis, but technically,
You don't have to worry about it.
however, we had to do a write-off on several of them. Residents. Not senior.
These yours?
I mean,
The
Take it. No, those.